Hey, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Oh, my goodness. Let's see here. They have got a lot of people in here already. It's good to see everybody. What a crazy world we're living in, huh? Man, there's so much going on and so much to talk about. Let me say my hellos real quick here. The Rickster, hello, hello, hello. Jules, hello, good evening to you. Eagle Lover, Texas, I hope the recovery is going well. Nikki, hello, how are you? Yep, and Silver Lining, hello, hello. And of course, a Terminator. And Johnny, what's going on, Johnny? Let me see here. Let's scroll through these a little bit here. Grateful Heart Ranch, good evening to you. Prep for the Eternal Homestead, good evening to you. Gypsy, hello, both of you. I hope your birthday was enjoyable, and I hope that your husband rubbed your feet and did lots of nice things for you. And if I didn't, I hope I got him in trouble. Let me see here. Horse Range Mountain Farm, hello. How are you from Georgia? I'll be in Georgia here in another 11 days, something like that.
Gaines Girl's here. She
hey,
must be
Gaines
feeling
Girl.
better.
Have you recovered from all the work? I don't think you ever quite recovered, do you? Hey, Rain Country, good evening to you. Hey, Heidi, make sure you tell Mr. Rain that his package is somewhere en route. Mm-hmm. We have a tracking number. I don't know that did you give it to me? You probably didn't.
No.
Yeah, but it's en route.
They said it'd be there Monday.
Oh, Monday?
Somebody has to sign for it.
Oh, okay. So Rain Country, someone has to sign for it. That's probably good for them to know.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's insured, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Randy Whitaker, good evening to you. Drummondson Live, good evening. Starla Doak, how you doing? Mary Michelle, ACM Homestead. Jesus. Rain Country says, so what kind of squash and gnome shenanigans will be going on tonight? Yeah, plenty.
No squash tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, Milk and Honey. Hello, good evening to you. Yes, there's a lot of oops. I just blew right by. Look at that. Okay. Where am I?
RN.
Carlene, hello. RN, hello. I just want to get everybody. Wendy, hello.
Steel Roz.
Vanessa, hello. Yeah, Steel Roz, hello. How are you? Vanessa Homesteads. Steve, how are you? Hey, there's my buddy Getting Deep with Data. Me and Data have been friends for many, many, many moons. Yep, talk to him just about every day. Hey, there's Mr. Rain. Mr. Rain, we were just talking about you. New Day Farm, hello.
Did you say Preps for Eternity?
Yep, I did. Mrs. Hacks, hello. Stan, hello. Janine, hello. Evie, hello. Randy Whitaker, hello. Miley Mason, good to see you. Let me see here. Hey, Hilltop Home Place, hello. Good evening. Linda Hamilton, hello from Oklahoma. Howdy, neighbor. Well, a few hours away, but
Kinda.
Neighbor either way, Linda.
It's a Midwest neighbor.
Let me see. ACM, hello. I think I already said that. All right, I think I got through them all, which is pretty cool. Hey, Richard, what's up, bud? Good. Well, I think so we don't miss it, so we can start off tonight, as we talked about at the last live, we have some birthdays. And if I missed somebody, I beg for your mercy, but I tried to write them all down as we went through this. So anyway, so New Day Farm, Johnny 30806, Jules, Starla Doak, and Tom Shivel all have birthdays this week. And so as we did last week, because I think birthdays are pretty cool, me and Bee have been talking about finding a new name for it, instead of birthday, maybe Wisdom Day or, something that, I don't know, is less.
That's ours.
That's ours. Yeah. Something a little less, a little less mainstream. But anyway, so everybody, why don't we join me? We're going to sing happy birthday to these guys real quick. Okay. Just because I want to make sure they have a happy birthday. So everybody ready? Ready?
Yep. Yep.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear New Day, Johnny, Jules, Starla, and Tom. Happy birthday to you. Yay.
I didn't know you were going to do that.
Yeah, well, it worked out pretty good.
So everybody.
Skanes Girl says, B, got my hoodie. I love it. Thank you so much for the extras.
Wonderful.
Yep. Awesome. Yep. Well, I hope you guys have a incredible, wonderful birthday. I hope your week was blessed. I do. And, you guys that are in here and that we come in here and talk, you guys are fighting the fight and, trying to live free and trying to be, self-reliant and responsible for your own actions. And so, hey, check this out. So Getting Deep with Data said today is his mom's birthday as well. Well, I've spoken to Mom a couple times, Data, over the years. And so make sure you tell Mom that Tag and B say hello and that we love her and to hang tough. But yes, happy birthday to everybody. And I know everybody in here sang with us tonight. And so I hope you guys felt it from everybody, the happy birthdays. Hey, one real quick of laundry item. I just want to get off the top. And then I've got all kinds of stuff I think we should talk about tonight.
Okay.
But the first thing, so Nicole Sauce, I did a live yesterday with her and Paul Wheaton from Permies.com. I don't know if you guys know who Paul Wheaton is. I wasn't super familiar with him. But anyway, I did a live one after we were talking, and she said that she would give me a discount for anybody that wanted to go to the Self-Reliance Festival. So I put a code in the description underneath this video for anybody that's going, save you a little bit of money. But anyway, that's
good.
I guess a month and a half away or something like that. But, I had a good time with Paul Wheaton. He's an interesting guy, and, we go at things very, very different, but I'm hoping, that I can learn a little bit from him as we get better and better. B, we got his master gardener class I got from him after talking to him, just so we can try it out. And so what B's going to do is B is going to take the entire class. And guys, it's like 60 hours long. I mean, it's a huge, long class, but she's going to take it, and then we'll report back to you guys if, what we think about it, if we like it, if, all of those kind of things. And, but anyway,
I get to nerd out. I'm so excited.
Are you?
Yes. That's something that I have been wanting to do. And now I get to.
Yeah. Yeah. He was interesting. I like how lively he is.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of a dork. I mean,
I'd never heard of him before, but then again, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm new to YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm new to, so we don't get out much.
Yeah. Evie, thank you for that link. Super cool. Excuse me. Horse Range Mountain Farm says, I know, right?
Whoa.
Has anyone been contacted by the CDC this week? They called our business 3 times doing a jab survey.
Who said that?
Right there, Horse Range Mountain Farm.
Wow.
The first 2 times we hung up, and the third time we told them to get lost.
I've had a lot of fraud activity going on this week. Different, what do you call that? People, different ways.
Yeah.
Bank problems, PayPal problems.
Yeah.
Cell phone problems.
I had some trademark problems this week.
Yeah. And they're getting tricky. I mean, they're getting very hard to spot.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Well, and I think it's going to get worse, as we talk about the difference between 4th generation and 5th generation warfare and the way things will go on. And I could go on and on about this topic, but their ability to affect us electronically through economics is great.
They have
a big reach.
Had the PayPal guy not yelled at me, I would have probably have given him more information.
Yeah. Rain Country says, yeah, I wore it back-to-back videos I was shooting, so it makes its first appearance in Monday's video, the freesteading t-shirt.
Nice.
Hey, Rain Country, thank you for doing that.
Love it.
Yeah, it's very important that we grow freesteading, and not for the reasons people would think. The fact of the matter is it drives no revenue to me. So that's not why we do it. I mean, it doesn't. All we do is it's a bill. It's a bill. But here's the thing is that I think with everything, and I'm going to talk about this a lot today, I think with all of this stuff going on, figuring out a way to do business together and figuring out a way to create, if not the counter economy, the parallel economy, I really think is going to benefit us as they begin to attack us and, more and more. And so, anyway, we'll get into that.
It also gives us an opportunity to learn one another and to see who's around us and see who we can help and who we can get help from and trust and those kind of things. So it does so much.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point that, knowledge weighs nothing. And as we can pass on these gifts to each other. I mean, guys right here, people in this, rain country, we've learned from you. How cool is that? Down a little bit, one step closer. Welcome, bud. One step closer. And I know I mentioned this, but I'm gonna mention it every single time. Has been the brains behind the ungovernable score calculator. And I just can't say thank you enough. By the way, he says you're going to love the Master Gardener course. He's about 75% through it. And he's learned so much.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
So yeah, we're really, really, really excited about that. I'm unable to capture the whole link in the description. Okay, let me see here. Right there, baby, is where we're at. I'm going to work on this. RN, yep. I think, or maybe Johnny right above that. No, Johnny would be the one.
Hiya, Skeins girl.
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
When I got out of the hospital from COVID a year ago, I had 2 social workers from the hospital show up at my house asking if I wanted the jab. Oh, no, thanks. RN. B, they are getting harder to spot. I only answer the phone if the name appears and I recognize it. Also, be careful of emails too. They may not be who they claim to be. Right. It was an email that said that my purchase was successful. But then when I went to my PayPal account, it showed that it was there and it was pending. And it had a phone number on it, on the email and on the PayPal invoice. It said, like, if you want to talk to PayPal, here's the phone number to call. Well, I called that number on not my phone, but on Tag's phone. Mm-hmm. And the guy directed me to another website to log into so that he could help me. And then he yelled at me because I put it in the search bar wrong. And so just red flags came up and I said, no, I don't want your help. Never mind. I'll figure it out another way. So it was very, very tricky. Sorry, I got.
Yeah, that's okay.
One step closer. Tag, you're making me blush.
Yeah.
Hippocrates.
Well, Hippocrates says he's going through it as well. Did his big Kickstarter thing. Oh, cool.
Oh, good.
Cool. Hacks is going to go bottle feed a lamb. Good for you.
Oh.
I'll look up that link, Jules. There's a lot of still purebloods out there, hopefully, Big Kid says knowledge weighs nothing. I call BS on that one. I had a bookcase crash through the floor. Could have had a book too many on it. Yeah, you could have. Yeah, when I refer to knowledge
weighs nothing.
Yeah, I don't really refer to it in the book. I refer to it in your brain. But yeah, I get that. Yeah, Heidi says keyword is social. Yeah.
Social workers.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness, I'm falling behind fast.
Sorry.
That's okay. Let me see here. Has anyone began to start seeds yet? You're just starting now, right?
Yeah, I'm collecting all of the stuff. Got the greenhouse, got the places I'm working on. We had them outside, and so they were frozen. I had to bring them inside to thaw out.
Yeah. Hey, Evie, I put the link to the Self-reliance. Oh, there you go. You got it. Never mind. I was going to say, apparently you got it. Okay, cool. Rock on. See, if I would just read Evie, I would save myself so much.
You were down a little bit farther.
Six-figure bookkeeper said, I just joined in. Is it okay to ask a random question? I'd prefer you did.
Absolutely.
Yep. Let me see here. Hey, Chris. Hello. How are you? Let me see here. Seeds going back shipped B on Monday. So I guess you got some seeds coming. Pretty cool, huh?
Oh.
And Horse Range Mountain Farm finished their greenhouse today.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Garlic, lettuce, beets, broccoli, turnips, and radishes and cilantro, says Johnny.
I would eat all of that.
Yeah, Chris, we're doing good, bud. We're, and onion. We are doing good. Let me see. Okay. Let me get my list up here today because I have quite
Did you put the ungovernable link in here when you started, like you did last week?
To the calculator?
No, to the other page or whatever.
No, I haven't, but I absolutely can put the ungovernable channel, or maybe Evie will do it because Evie's just a rock star.
Because she's faster than you.
Well, everybody in here is faster than me. So, see, look. Bam.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Hey, sweet, savvy words. Good evening to you. Knowledge for me is heavy, says Mr. Rain. Takes me a long time to learn. Yeah, it might be long-term heavy, but I think, all that brain stuff, I was talking to Paul Wheaton about living off grid. And, him and I view living off grid very differently.
Yes.
Very, very
well,
differently.
I think a lot of people see it differently.
Yes. I'm probably the oddball when it comes to off grid living, because I believe in using every technology to my advantage. I believe in,
yes. And some,
yes. And a lot of people, the way they look at off grid is get all the way back to the very, very basics.
Yes. Where you're hauling water in from a stream.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah. But here's the cool thing is that I'm hoping that I can learn from some of that, because like I told them, I only know what I know because of what I've been through. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, we only know what we know.
Well, when we decided to go off grid, it's not like I had a mentor.
No.
No,
I remember the plumber like sitting back and watching, and he was like, He's like, well, I wouldn't have done it that way, but I don't see why it wouldn't work.
Yeah. And
it works.
It works fine, right?
Yeah. I'm not hauling water in with a bucket.
Yeah. Heidi says Mr. Rain needs to flush.
Yeah, because he was saying up above that his load was heavy or something. I'm paraphrasing.
Hey, half bubble off plum, greatest name on the internet. How are you? Lady Lou, hello. First time checking you guys out. I caught tag last night with Nicole talking Self-Reliance Festival. Yeah, Lady Lou, I'm glad that you're here. I hope to hear from you a lot in here. There's there's a lot of people in here, and we talk about a lot of things. B will trade squash. Tag will back her up. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Yeah.
Yeah, because he doesn't want me to grow anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Yep. So, okay. So next item. Let me see. Oh, sorry, I missed this. I'll get to it. Okay. Big Kid, I got you next, bud, I think, to talk about your thermoelectric generator. But anyway, what I want to talk about real quick is I have a video that's already out on the Ungovernable channel, but will come out on Sunday talking about the ESG scores, that they're talking about with the social credit scores. And I don't know how much you guys know about this, but I have done a ton of research trying to figure out, exactly how it works and how they'll use it. And because the fact of the matter, it's already here. And, the law that they've already put it all in place, and the ESG scores in reference to companies has been in place. And I'll give you some examples. I don't know if you guys know, like Merrill Lynch, for an example, you can get your ESG score right on your statement coming from Merrill Lynch. Okay, so for those of you guys who don't know, so ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. Okay, and all three of these are really, really important, right? So environmental, this will come into, carbon footprints, right? And how much energy you use and what kind of car you buy. And there's actually calculators out there now that you can kind of calculate your score, and they ask you all the way down to the model of the vehicle in which you drive. Social will be, things like, in reference to a company, will be things like your hiring practices. Yep. Right. How, diverse are you, and the inclusion thing, and, all of that kind of stuff. And then the governance is how the government, kind of mandates it. But anyway, I got a video coming out about those scores on Sunday. But the reason why I did it is after doing all this research, what I've come to figure out is I think that they won't even do it. They're going to force the companies to do it. They're going to use corporations to enforce.
I could see that.
The ESG scores. And the way that they're going to do that is they're going to make that the companies have to prove their own ESG worthiness, right? Because if they don't, they won't have access to funding, right? I mean, all these, perks that come from the government.
And their employees would play a role in that?
Oh yeah. Well, they're gonna make sure that the employees meet the standards, but also the customers. So like, let me give you an example. The way it looks like, let's say you went out and bought a Stihl chainsaw on your credit card. So your credit card company, if it was trying to follow the ESG format, would dock you points because you bought a gas-powered chainsaw. Does that make sense? I mean, it's a complete mess, which is why it's even more and more important. We developed with, obviously some big help. We developed the USG score, or UGS score, the ungovernable score, when it's kind of a game a little bit. But the truth is, what it's really designed to do is just get people to think about how many ties do I have, to the system at any given time,
and what you can do about it.
And then what is it we can do about it. And we're going to have a whole video series that comes out that talks about each step of that ungovernable score. And then how is it that we can detach from that system in each one of those categories. And so it's going to be this huge process. I'm going to talk about the ungovernable score a little bit when I get to Georgia. I'm going to probably talk about it a little bit when I get to Tennessee. But anyway, I found that super, super fascinating, and I'll get back to that, but I'm way behind.
Yeah.
Who did I promise? I'm way up here.
Big Kid.
Big Kid. A Big Kid tag. Progress has been being made on the thermoelectric generator. A few details for you. The burn chamber is 2 by 3 inches, and the feed chute is 3 by 4 inches. The exhaust is 2 by 5 inches. The case is 25.5 by 27.34. Yeah, what I want to know, Big Kid, is as you get through this, I want to know what kind of power output it's got. Right? What are you actually generating? Consistency, and then what's the consistency of the power? Right? Shovel my greenhouse through 3 foot of snow. My apple trees I started from seeds, and buckets are doing good, says Terminator. Yep, I was just teaching my grandson to say half bubble off plum today. You know what? It's funny is that I don't know what it is with that name, but there have been, Heidi, all kinds of people quote half bubble off plum, and that I don't know why that name is what it is, but it's just the greatest name ever. RN says, hey, half bubble off plum. I think of you every time I use my level to set a post.
Yep.
Yep. Join here. Hello. How are you? Skanes girl. Hello again. I already said that, but hello again. There's the ungovernable channel. Let me see here. Getting Deep with Data says, I wonder what my ESG score is. It's poor. I can tell you that already because I took their test. I got on there and went through all of the stuff, and I actually score better than a lot will because I'm off grid. I don't have a big carbon footprint, but they docked me good for driving a pickup.
Well, and you have 2 vehicles.
Yeah. And I didn't calculate the 1973 one ton.
That's way bad gas mileage.
Yeah. See, the state of Texas just made all of the state pension funds cash out of all the ESG funds. That's a great idea. And you know what's crazy about the whole ESG thing is this is what people don't understand. Or most people don't understand this, is that all it is a way to bleed money off of the markets for the government pet projects. Okay, let me explain how this works. It's super simple. By them making these companies meet these ESG standards, okay, what they're doing is they're bleeding profits from the company. Make sense?
Okay.
If I make you meet a carbon standard, right, I'm going to take your profits from you, right? In order to meet that standard, you're going to have to invest money in that.
Yeah.
And they've convinced the public under the guise of it's good for the environment that you only want to invest in these companies. But what will happen is the profits will be way low.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're spending all this money on these other things.
To get it to where it needs to be.
But now the problem gets even more complex because of in the second quarter of this year, the average baby boomer retires.
Yes.
Right? Which means that all of that money's coming out of the market as it should, right? Because they get into retirement, they no longer want risk.
Yeah.
Right. So they'll do T-bills, they'll do whatever, right? But they're not going to be so much in the market. And so there's going to be fewer and fewer people to invest in these companies, but yet the government's got bigger mandates. Anyway, it's a complete mess. If the powers that be really want to go green, then everyone would have to walk or ride a horse. Actually, RN, I've done some study on this, and there's a lot of talks about having, and they'll start them in the cities, but basically they're going to have Uber fleets. Fleets. And I use Uber loosely, taxi fleets, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you'll just take public transportation everywhere.
Yeah.
That there won't be any more cars. They don't want individual car ownership. Let me see here.
Well, that's what they do in a lot of the big cities, right?
Well, they'll obviously start it in the cities. By the time it gets out to where we live, good luck.
Like we can't even get grocery delivery out here.
Yeah.
There's no food that delivers out here.
Yeah. They've been doing that for decades, says Hey Alabama. That's why we don't have any industry anymore. Could not agree more. Fabricating important jobs out of thin air, says Mr. N. I could not agree more. And what's crazy is you would think that, like these companies wouldn't play ball, right? Except the people at the top are making these, millions of dollar salaries by just playing the game.
Yes.
I already gave my kids their inheritance. And the only thing I have in my name, says Still Roz, is a 24-year-old horse, small homemade horse trailer, and a small amount of savings account.
Yep.
Yeah, that's another, I think, really important topic. Still Roz, that I should stress to everybody is that go get some money out of the bank and do it right now. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on tonight as we go through our live, but having a month, let's just say that, having a month's worth of cash wherever you keep your cash is super smart.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
a good start. If you don't feel comfortable pulling all your money out of the bank or having large sums of cash, then take your money and divide it between 10 banks, whatever it is, because what that does is that will lessen your risk. And coming from someone who has survived oh, by the way, your bank's been shut down, right? We had this happen to us back during 2008. And so I'll never be there again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amy B says, hello, Amy B, by the way. I don't know if I said hello to you or not yet, but hello. Green vehicles have increased registration fees, hybrids plus 100, electric plus 200 annually in Ohio.
Oh.
I guess I need to buy Yoda and Grumpy's cart I had thought about and find 2 horses. Well, I mean, if Starla, I know you say that jokingly, but if we're going to give in, that's maybe true. The fact of the matter is a lot of this stuff could be fixed if just America would grow a sack and stand up and say no. Seriously. What are they going to do? They're going to put 50 million people in jail? Not hardly. They're not going to do it. Just when there's just a few of us, it's easy to squash it, right?
They'll get the loudest ones and make examples.
That's right. Yeah. Potpourri for Life says, I agree about the cash. Yet what will happen when cash is no longer of value? Well, here's the thing, Potpourri for Life, is that it won't be a light switch. They won't just come on and say, okay, now all your cash is worth nothing. What they'll say is, which is going to happen, they're going to say, okay, you have 30 days to turn in your cash or it'll be worth nothing. The point is that you've got to have some way to do commerce. And that little bit of cash that you would have at home in the event of some kind of issue, which, guys, there have never been another time in American history where there's so many possible problems. I mean, this is why they call it the everything bubble. You ever heard that term? In the news, it's everywhere, right? The everything bubble. And that's because, I'll get into it, but it's because everything can go wrong. There's just so much of it. Wait until you see my Uber vehicle, old van that can hold about 20 people. Yeah, I like that Uber.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a postal credit union 2 years ago try to not give me my money. Yeah, my bank don't like to give us money either, Johnny. We go in the bank and say, hey, we need $5,000 out. They'll be asking you all kinds of questions. But I think taking your money between credit unions and then smaller banks, preferably, right? Something regional that's got 2 or 3 branches, because in the course of the bank runs, if a bank run was to happen, guys, I can tell you with 100% certainty, okay, 100% certainty, the banks do not have the money in the bank. It does not exist. It's called leveraging. Okay, and so the fact of the matter is, our banks are pensions. Right, your 401ks, all of these things have been leveraged at a 10-to-1 ratio. What that basically means is, and they're not all 10-to-1. I just use that as an example. So you go put, let's say all of the people together, go and deposit $1 million in a bank. Well, that money is then loaned out. The $1 million doesn't sit there anymore.
Oh no!
By regulation, they've got to keep of $1 million of $10. Maybe they keep 1.
Yeah.
So the first few people through the bank door are going to do okay.
Right.
But after that, you're not going to do it. And here's the other thing. The FDIC insurance that they claim is on your bank account, right, that insures the first $250,000. Do you guys remember during 2008 how the federal government had to get involved and guarantee it because the FDIC didn't have any money?
Yes.
Okay, so it's just not going to be there. Evie says they want everyone within 15-minute cities. Worldwide, there are about 92 of them. Yep. 2 in UK, Norfolk, Oxford. You will have to get permission to leave your 15-minute zone.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
They've talked about that before.
Big Kid says junk silver, buy it cheap and stock it deep. Yeah, there's actually, silver's kind of been down. So has gold. And so has been a lot of commodities, which would actually point to a deflationary period, not an inflationary period, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Let me see. The FDIC has already been discussing it and how they should tell the people because they might run to take their money out. Oh, guys, a bank run would be a horrible, horrible, horrible deal because there just isn't enough money out there. My daughter and I have 6 months of funds, mine around 28 acres. Hopefully I don't forget where I buried all of it. Yeah.
Make sure that your daughter knows where that stuff is so that in the event something happens to you, she's not out. My dad did the same thing. And when he passed, one of his buddies was showing me where my dad had a couple stashes. So, and we don't even know if that was everything. So,
yeah, well, your dad got dementia, right? And at the end of his last couple of years of his life,
he was putting stuff in the fridge that didn't belong in the fridge.
Yeah. And so there's probably money buried and things buried on his property that no one will ever know because he forgot.
Right.
You know? Let me see here. Rain Country says, when I say cash, I'm not talking about the bank. I'm talking about cash in hand. Best to divide it up and store it in different areas.
Mm-hmm.
So Rain Country, you and I are on the same page. I try to only keep enough money in the bank to pay the bills and what I have to do until I can find a way out of the banking system. So me and you see it completely eye to eye. I just think offering them an alternative to say, if you're not comfortable doing that, diversify with different banks or whatever. Just do something else.
Do what you are comfortable with.
Yeah. Yeah.
We do not do that.
Yeah. Dog Creek Farm is here. Hello. How are you, bud? Let me see. I don't even know where I am. If I bury something, I need a map because it's likely scattered all kinds of metal around to confuse anyone with a detector. That's actually a good idea. Yep. Chris White. Hey, how's it going? Yeah. Mandy Garrett. Hello. Hello. Have you, Mandy, have you picked a grain mill yet? She was talking about in the live last night, there's some grain mills being made out of Montana. I don't remember the name. And she was asking if I had heard of them and I had not.
That's want a grain mill.
You have one.
Oh, I thought you meant storage. I'm sorry. I thought you meant the silo. I know. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Ivana, hello. My mom had money stashed away all over the house, including the freezer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rain Country said there's a risk no matter what you do with it, though. There's absolutely a risk. The question is, who do you want to carry the risk?
Right.
That's really all it comes down to. Who do you want to carry the risk and who are you going to trust along the way? I would rather handle my own risk. Right? I just would. Ivana says, we found it after she passed away. Yeah. Ivana, I'm just curious. How comfortable are you saying you found it all? Chiochi says, taking money out of retirement creates a tax penalty. How do you get around that? You don't. You absolutely don't. I mean, this is the problem with all of these funds, Chiochi, is that they hook all of these things to it to make you get it out. But listen, what I would encourage you to think about it a little bit differently, is that what is the penalty worth against what the inflation rate is? Right, let me give you an example. Let's say you pulled all your money out of a market, and I'm not recommending anybody do this. I'm not a financial advisor, et cetera, et cetera. Let's say you take your money out of the market, out of your fund, and they give you a 10% penalty. Let's just use this as an example, because this would be a common number in a lot of those. So let's say you do that. You take it out to 10%. And let's say inflation. What do you think inflation is? You know, the government will tell you it's 7%. I will argue it's much higher than that. What is a gallon of milk? What's a pound of cheese? What is, look at all of those and weigh those two against each other, because by you leaving your money in there, maybe it gains in the market, maybe it doesn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Depends on the market,
mm-hmm.
right? By taking it out, how does that work against the inflation?
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, we took a bunch of money out of the market when we decided to go live this crazy life. And today I'm ahead.
Yeah.
Because what it would have cost me to do today, had I waited 3 years, that it would cost me to do today, I'd had 3 times the amount of money in it, by the time it was all said and done.
Pod 1 cost $400 or $4,000 for this material.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's see if I can get everybody. Let me see, where am I at? Tammy Hall, hello. In a fire, does the freezer not burn?
Mm-hmm.
No, the freezer will burn, but it does offer some protection. The question really is, Tammy, is how long till the fire gets inside the freezer?
Yeah.
Because everything, I've got big gun safes, for example, and stuff like that.
You can bury it outside.
Yeah. That gun safe is rated in a fire, but only for so long. Like some safes will carry a 45-minute rating, for example, or an 85,000 BTU rating. And so the freezer will offer some protection. The question really would be for how long? Yeah.
You put a safe inside of the safe.
Yeah. Johnny says inflation is 35 to 40%. And see, this is what I'm talking about. So are you better off leaving your money, losing 35 or 40% in Johnny's equation in inflation, which is nothing else but just additional taxation, right? Or are you better off taking your 10% or your 15% penalty and turning that money into assets? And I'm not recommending anything to anybody. I'm just saying I would really consider how that worked out.
Yeah.
Yep. Just purchased our first chicken incubator. One more item to be more self-sustaining and make some money along the way selling some chicks. Yep. Yeah. There's a whole story coming out about that too. Right. Use their emergency against them. I was able to get mine with only a 10% penalty. See, and I think this is what we did at Horse Range Mountain Farm. we took some penalties getting it out, but I'm telling you, I'm so much farther ahead today for doing it. Unfortunately, there is no real way to get out of those penalties, that they charge you. Evie says gold, silver, and property equals assets. Yeah, I would say that the goal for all of us should be to be income poor and asset rich. I think that is the best combination to fight this. Actually, your inflation percentage is based upon what you are purchasing. It does, but there's got to be a mean, right? An average, to it all. Okay, let me see. We find assets to be the best way to invest, but sometimes the trouble is deciding which ones are best. Yeah. I mean, you could have bought OSB at $8 a sheet, and a year later it was $64.
Yeah.
But you could have also bought it at $8, a year later it was $1. I mean, so brass and lead, that's another good one. Thing is, if they can take one, they can take the other. See, this is also true, which I'm going to talk about that a little bit tonight too, because there's some discussions about this. Hey, Alabama, there's some actual discussions about, the feds are discussing this right now, which we'll talk about. Yeah, see, at a 40% penalty, Horse Range Mountain Farm says, me too, Tag, the penalty was going to be 40%. See, at a 40% penalty, now you really got to look at it, right?
Yeah.
How does that weigh versus inflation? But either way, if you can make your decision based on all the facts, I would encourage you to go get all the facts. So at least you can look at all of it,
Yeah.
Ivana says, I have 3 brothers and 4 sisters along with our older children helping. Mom was 91 when she passed. We trust one another. Yeah, but you guys think you got it all. Do you think she had buried somewhere that you didn't get?
Yeah. I know that we did not get everything my dad stashed away.
Yes.
I'm certain of it.
Yeah. Mandy Garrett says we're in the same boat trying to get our money out of an IRA. Guys, and it's hard to get it out. They don't want to give you your money. Isn't that crazy? It's your money. It's your money, and yet you can't get it. How crazy is that? Anyway, what else? So you did a wood stove video this week, right?
I did.
So Bee walked around her wood stove and just kind of showed what all the knobs and buttons and,
I actually learned a thing or two also in making my video.
Yeah. Drummondson Live says, if you take money out of your 401k, you also have to pay a 21% income tax on as well. Not necessarily, Drummondson Live. That's not necessarily true. Depends on what your profits are. And it also depends on how the money went in, right? Was it pre-tax? Was it post-tax? That matters. And then also, where are you at in it? So yeah, if you're pulling your money out at the peak of the market and it's been in there a long, long time, you will absolutely have some income tax due or capital gains tax due on that investment. But it just depends on where you're at in it, right? Letty Lou says he didn't even know he had the account. He was automatically signed up for it. We just want the dang money. Yeah.
Oh, her husband had a 401k.
Yeah. Yeah. Super hard to get out, and that's crazy that that's your money. Just crazy.
Well, that he was automatically signed up for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely crazy. Okay. So wood cook video, that went pretty good, right?
Yeah, I think so.
She just basically showed what all the knobs did and how it worked and, how she's learning to do that. So
cleaned it out. I don't typically clean it out when it's hot. So, and it was going. So the air, it was puffing up ash into the air. So typically I would wait and do that on a calmer day when it was cold, but I was trying to get a video. I had old, Yeah.
Yeah, this is an interesting point. So Letty Lou says, yeah, the stupid tax on it's so dumb. His isn't that high, but it's like running in circles to get his money, all because government wants you to save for retirement. Well, they actually do, this is actually an interesting topic. They actually don't want you to save from retirement because savings is bad for the economy. What they want is they want you to believe you're saving, while they take that money and turn it and roll it and roll it and turn it and roll it and send it all over the place, because our economy is based on infinite growth. And so it always has to be growing, right? It always has to be in debt. You always got to be taking loans out. But if you were to take that money instead of a 401k and let's say put it into a savings account, that would be contrary to what they want you to do. Because if it's in a savings account, you're taking the money out of the circle. But I think the other advice that I would give you is really sit down and try to understand where you think this country will be in 5 years. And you base your decision on that. Because if you believe that, hey, you know what, we're in a little bit of a downturn, it's going to pick right back up, I'd leave your money in there. I would. if you believe that wasn't the case, then maybe I would do something about it. We want to put our money where we want instead of where the government wants us. Absolutely. You know, I decided, and this has been in a lot of my videos, that I was going to invest in me instead of Wall Street. And so that's what I did.
And we did.
Yep. Let me see. Jesus says the company I'm at signs you up automatically too. You can choose to contribute or not, but they add either way. And after 3 years, you're 100% vested without putting it in. Weird. Okay. So here's a whole nother thing. If you got someone who's willing to match what you put in there, think about that like making 100% on your money. That's a hard investment to beat. You know, if I had a company that, which I don't, but if I had a company that was willing to match what I put in, I would put it in a super safe fixed annuity or something like that, where the interest and the principal was guaranteed, and then I just take the 100% run.
But then if you want to take it out, they take 40% of it.
Yeah, but I was getting 100% return. Right? If I'm getting 100% return on my money,
so you're still ahead. But...
I'm still ahead 60% at the end of that first year. And then that 60% decreases over time. Anyway, I recommend everyone with a 401k to look into precious metal IRA. It doesn't cost you to roll it over. No, but you don't have it either, Jules. Someone else has it. And although that could be a good idea, you know, there's a lot of confiscation stuff, you know, going on that, you know. Anyway, Rain Country says having grandchildren changes your view on where one wants to head. Oh my goodness, with their future plans. Yeah, 100%. I want to leave something behind to my grandkids, which, by the way, my granddaughter was born,
yep.
I think, since the last time we were on here.
Yep.
And 6 pounds, 14 ounces.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Little baby girl. And I got to go and hold her and love her and kiss on her. And
yep.
she was actually kind of cute. She fell asleep with her hand in
your pocket.
My pocket for a while. That was pretty cool. So I'm super excited to see what happens. And I cannot wait to send her home in a taxationist theft onesie, because that's my responsibility as her grandfather. And so I'm pretty cool.
Yeah, they'll love you.
Yeah, they'll love me for that. So anyways, let's talk about some headline stuff that's going on. I'd love to hear some of your guys' thoughts. So we did the Laundry Self-Reliance Festival. There's a discount code. I also have the discount code in for the Next Step convention that will be down in Georgia. So we covered that. Yeah. We covered the ESG and the wood video. So apparently there's a new bird flu outbreak. Wait, all that new. It's a month old, but that's moving to mammals. And there was a case of a young girl who it transmitted from, I think it was in Peru. But anyway, it transferred from the bird to the human. And so they're worried about it. And so the Biden administration right now is spinning its wheels trying to figure out how to vaccinate chickens. This is true. This is all headlines from just recently.
Oh.
Yeah. He might need something. You want to try this?
Yeah, I can.
Here. Sorry, guys. That is a 75-year-old neighbor who called Bee and then me back to back. And we just want to make sure that he's okay. Anyway, so we're talking about vaccinating chickens. So this would be all of the chickens that come through, you know, like, Tractor Supply or, Murray Hatchery or any of these to be pre-vaccinated coming in, but they're seriously considering vaccinating chickens. It just absolutely blows me away. Just absolutely blows me away. Thank you, by the way, for all the congratulations on my granddaughter, and the world's a better place with her in it. And again, I can't wait to send her home in a taxationist theft t-shirt, because I'm absolutely 100% going to do that. So I'd love to hear your thoughts about the vaccinating chickens thing, and how in the world will our government, not mess that one up. Sweet Every Word says, tag, you mean vaccinating them chickens like vaccinating up? Yes, Rain Country, you're exactly right. Never let a good crisis go to waste. That's 100% correct. That could not have, it couldn't be any better than that right there. And, it's so interesting how we've had all of these runs, and, eggs got really expensive, and you got all these hatcheries that burned down, and all of these stuff that, the chickens that had to be killed. And now here we are again with everything else that's going on. This administration is spending its time worrying about how to vaccinate chickens. I mean, seriously, this is just, just next headlines, died suddenly chickens. Yeah. Hey, Alabama, we should make a video on that, huh? Died suddenly chickens. Any tips on how to get a non-vax chickens? I know there will be that there are other vax for them that may not be good already. Well, Jesus, yes, I can give you some good advice on this. So first of all, have a community, because I'm going to tell you something. We don't buy chickens. We grow our own. You know, we take our chickens and Bee will hatch. I'm actually starting here in about 20 days. She will start hatching. She'll put the first eggs in the incubator, and we will hatch all the way through September. And, you know, that's a great way to get them, you know, find a farmer, find a community, find somebody local that, you know, none of that stuff's done to them. Texas A&M wrote up an article about vaccinating dogs in Texas for the dog flu. Yeah, Johnny, I haven't even heard of the dog flu. Apparently there's a dog flu. Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for doing that.
Sure thing.
Broody hens and roosters in your flock right now are extremely valuable, in my humble opinion. No mRNA vax for mine. Yeah, they're not getting on my property. So let me see here. 75 layers went up in a fire in Australia. See, I think isn't this interesting how all the egg stuff all at one time is going on, and now they're talking about vaccinating birds. Tag, if someone wanted to send you something, how could they get it to you? Okay, so if you want to send me something, what you do is email me at tag, the letter N, B, at lifedonefree.com, and I'll share my address with you, but I don't want to share it over YouTube. Make the chickens wear masks and rubber gloves. Maybe have each one live in their own plastic bubble. Oh, yeah.
Quarantine
Isn't
them.
that crazy? That is just crazy to me, especially with everything else going on, which I'm going to talk about. But yeah, apparently there's a dog flu now. I haven't even heard about this.
Hand washing station out there.
I bet said the dog vaccination is $200. Well, of course it is. We'll just shoot them with a little water and tell them, take your $200. You know, just absolutely insanity to me. I used to work with Lewis Rich. They would add most meds in the water. I had to go once and collect sinus fluids from turkeys and whoop, right by me. And test for Pasteurella in turkeys. See, I think this is a good point too, Joint Hair, is that why would they need to vaccinate them when they could just add it to the water? Why would they need to vaccinate us when they could just add it to the water?
When they could just spray it overhead from a balloon?
Just put it in the water. Put it in all the water districts, put it all in just like they put fluoride in it. Mm-hmm. Why do they need to go through all of that? Which is why becoming ungovernable is so important, why we manage our own water systems. I have my own well, my own rain collection, my own everything, and I'm not taking any of that stuff. Yeah, crazy. Richard Hake says Australia is now worried that people will start raising their own chickens. They're worried about this. How crazy is this?
Yeah.
You know, Chochi says we had a chicken coop fire near me, killed 100,000 chickens.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Just crazy. Yeah, I don't trust the propaganda. I'm just telling you what I know now. Yeah, I don't trust it either, Johnny, but I think it's still good to know, as you said. You know, update. I and my family were diagnosed with the flu. I thought it was offed by the vid. Yeah, Bug Out Channel. Hey, we need to be ungovernable. Hey, this is my very, very good friend 86 from the Bug Out Channel's in here tonight. Again, one of my long-time friends. I've known a very, very, very long time. Great channel. If you're interested in bug out bags and that kind of stuff, knives, you know, all that kind of stuff, go over to the Bug Out Channel and check it out. And again, another person fighting to be free and to offer people solutions for living free and getting ungovernable.
He made me a Kydex holster for my Hori Hori.
Yeah, he did. Bee uses a Hori Hori in the garden all the time, and Bug Out Channel made her a Kydex holster for it. It was really, really cool. Yeah, Mrs. Hack says, I'm back, Lambo fed and back to bed. Yeah, the meds wouldn't be strong enough enough diluted in the water supply. That's interesting. Are you sure about that? Because they do a lot of other things in there. They've talked about putting COVID-19 in public water and in lettuce and spinach and tomatoes. Yeah, I've heard it about lettuce. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is absolutely crazy. See if I got anything new here. Okay. All right. So did you guys, I'm sure you guys heard today that they shot a something.
So they shot something
down over in Alaska today. I found it interesting. I was reading about it. Typically, so you guys know, like when I'm working, I usually got, something in my ear and I'm listening to the news or I'm listening to a podcast or whatever. So anyways, I'm just doing my thing. I'm picking it up. But I was listening to the general speak about that object that they shot down. And he said that it wasn't a balloon and it wasn't a plane. It was flying at 40,000 feet. And this is what I found in, and it was they intercepted it with 2 F-22 Raptor fighter jets. One of them took a shot and shot it down because it was a threat to public safety.
To airplanes.
They also mentioned that it was traveling northeast, which is a super fascinating statement, in my opinion.
From Alaska.
Because it was shot down on the northern coast of Alaska. So if it was moving northeast, it was moving away from America. Right, which I found interesting. But I have not heard what the object was. I was talking to Bug Out Bag channel earlier, and he said that someone had mentioned it was a balloon. But I heard the general said it was not a balloon and was not an aircraft. So it's hard to say, but I think that's just absolutely crazy. Totori, not a spy balloon. Yeah, it was an object. I don't know what that is, but Santa was heading home, Hippocrates says. Hippocrates, I would expect I would expect nothing less from you. That's funny. We talked about that. Yeah. So remember I told you guys earlier a little bit about how go make sure you got at least a month's worth of income at home in cash. Mm-hmm. I would recommend way more, but do what's comfortable for you. Today, I read an article about the government talking about tapping into private savings accounts, 401ks, and all of these things as a financing tool where they could use the people's money. Right. And don't worry.
Are they doing that already?
No, they don't get into your personal savings account down at the local bank. Right. They don't seize your assets. And there's a reason why they're talking about this, right? Because the economy's not doing so great. And here, let me give you some examples on why I say this is true. I don't know if you guys know this or not. But for example, did you know that if you compare right now to this time last year, 25% less goods are being shipped across the United States of America?
Yeah.
Okay. So what does that mean? What does that do? If I say that to you, B, that 25% less goods are being moved, what does that really mean?
That we're going to run out.
Well, or the demand isn't as high. Okay, what you got to remember is we have
that could be too.
Okay, we have a just-in-time delivery system, and what that means is when you go to Walmart and you buy whatever it is,
a can of beans.
Okay,
They
scan it, they automatically reorder it, and then it comes in from some processing center, the big distribution centers, right? And it comes back in. So
yes.
Okay, so because it's just in time, things are only being shipped based upon what's being sold. Does this make sense?
Yes.
So the 25% less shipping rate across our country would tell me that demand is falling. That's how I would interpret that. But I would be interested into what everyone else thinks about, is that how you would interpret that? And I got a bunch of other statistics I want to share with you guys tonight so that we can hopefully all together come up with the great thing. But how would you interpret 25% less shipping in the United States today as compared to the previous year?
Yeah.
Economy is slowing now and for the next several months, says Hills Mills Homestead. People aren't buying, says Love Runs Rampant. Hello to you, by the way. Hills Mill, hello to you too. They don't reorder at stores in my town. Still lists missing.
Still lots of money, yeah.
Dorothy, you rock. She says, because we're starving the beast. Yeah. They want to tax. Sorry, I missed one.
Rickster.
Oh, okay. Did you get that?
I did send it.
Okay.
I sent it a couple days ago.
Okay. They want to tax any increase in value in your 401k. They want to tax increase in our capital gains before we sell the house. Yikes. Yeah. And this is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because it's not any increase, guys, in a 401k or anything else like that is what's called an unrealized gain, which means because you didn't cash it out, you didn't realize the gain. And so if as they begin to tax, and they're doing some of that now, those unrealized gains, what's the point of investing? Randy says at Rain Country, laughing so hard my sides are hurting, and I must have missed
what she said.
Oh crap, I forgot.
Baroon. Yeah, it must have been another comment. I must have missed it. Because more people are growing their own. Yep, I'd like to know what is being shipped, what isn't being bought. Yeah, the study, Lady Lou, the study that I read didn't break it down that much. And what I was looking for tonight is just, I have a theory in what's going on, and I'm trying to figure out, is my theory sound based on it? So I'm just researching and going through these. So I was just reading a bunch of that stuff, you know, tonight.
Because it could be things that we're just making do without.
Yeah.
You know, like the new cell phone and the new radio, but it also could be
eggs,
food.
Right. Mandy Garrett says, my husband is a truck driver and he has a hard time finding loads right now. Yep. Oh. Weapons Junkie says, yes. By the way, Weapons Junkie, hello. Yes, demand is down. Dry index is down too. I noticed that today. I looked at that as well. Chiochi says, my business has dropped off a lot. I sell to wholesale customers who resell to the consumer. Yeah, I'm interested, Chiochi. I don't know if you're willing to share it or not, but what is it do you sell? And maybe we can, you know, make up some of that difference inside the community. Richard Hike says 25% less, but what items are they talking about? Right. Yeah, they weren't item specific. What they were saying is the amount of shipping is down 25%, which is why I'm asking you how you guys interpret it.
Which is why shipping containers are so much.
People have maxed out their credit cards, don't know basic budgeting, nothing left to spend, 25% decrease in spending. Just half bubble off plum. It's especially dangerous because we have no control over how much their value, our property would increase. Yeah. People are only buying essentials and making do.
Yeah.
Yep. Love Runs Rampant says, if China isn't shipping us things anymore, then why is everything they are selling still made in China? Yeah, I read an article today that I found pretty interesting about Nike, and they were talking about how the inventory in Nike's warehouses are up 58% as compared to last year. So what does that mean? See, these are the things I spend all my nerd time in, is right here. What does Nike having 58% more inventory than they did this time last year? What does that mean?
That nobody wants Nike.
Mm-hmm. Well, it certainly means that the demand for Nike is down. But is it just Nike, or is it, you know, completely across the board?
Well, I don't buy Nike.
With the possibility of us losing chips from Taiwan, I went ahead and got a new phone. Yeah, chips are an interesting issue.
Yes, it is.
Man, I'm always late getting here. Sorry, I'm a big fan. Storm Rider, you were here right on time. You were 57 minutes in, which means that you made it to 66% of the live. Congratulations. Joel said, I tried to tell the ex's job is going away, but he blows me off. Could be because people can't afford it. They're just buying what they need. Yep. You can dispute property tax increases with reevaluation. Yes, you can.
Yes.
Especially with folks still not working. Our stores are always looking to hire, and it affects their hours. We have a controlled union, local supply chain crash over here. We ask our local farmers and distributors here, and they say there is no problem. Interesting. Nike went woke, screw them. Yeah, Johnny, I 100% agree with that. And I would not buy Nike either, but I think it's very interesting that they have 58% more. See, I think what this points to, again, this is just how I see it, right? Don't make it right, guys. It's just how I see it, is that we're going to see deflation. And I'm going to give you guys some other examples why I'm leading to this may happen. Because you've got all of these inventories built up, and it's not just Nike.
Yeah.
Okay, that what they're going to have to do is start putting things on sale to clear out that inventory.
Yeah.
Right. So that what your dollar buys today, you know, a lot of people won't see it this way. Holding on a little bit, you may, depending on whether you believe in inflation, right, and what's coming, and it's hard to tell. But if we got into a deflationary period, your dollar would go further, which is interesting, right? Let me see, where did Nike did go woke. Matt Morton said hello. Never had a credit card.
Good.
Yeah, I think no matter what's coming on, whether it's inflation, deflation, stagflation, any of those kind of things, I think being out of debt is a great solution.
Did you see Chowchi? I manufacture lockets in small cases used to be big business customers who make solid perfume.
They dropped right off after the shutdowns? Oop, right by.
I'm glad you got it before
it
scrolled.
Yeah, it just goes by fast. Okay. Yeah, I manufacture. Yeah, you know what, Chiochi, I would be, super interested in, finding a way to, use the community to help your business, and you can help the community. I'm not sure what that looks like, but I'm always open to that. Dog Creek Farm says we have multiple chips plant being built. It's with our money. Of course it's with your money. Everything gets done with your money. It's like the old saying, use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without. Yep. I think that was said by James Wesley Rawls, right?
I don't know, but I like that.
Yeah, I think that's James Wesley Rawls. Sweet Savory Word says in 3 months I will be debt free. Will you make sure, Sweet Savory Word, you come on here and we will do a I'm debt free scream like Ramsey does. We'll have to find a new way, to do it. I'm no longer a slave or something like that.
Yeah.
I would make a pair of sandals from trash before I bought Nike. Yeah, I would too. But I still think that the numbers are fascinating. And maybe that's why Nike has so much, is just because they went woke and nobody wants to buy them. Chip plants and battery plants are keeping electrical businesses busy. Yeah, guys, I know a bunch about this. There is 2 applicants from my state in the CHIPS Act, and the RFPs, so that's request for proposal, will be out, I believe, at the end of this month or early in March from the federal government. And then people will begin to submit their proposals. And what I'm hearing is at the earliest, maybe June or July, but at the latest about September, they'll start awarding contracts to start building chips.
Which would bring lots of business to our
it'd be great for the state. From a revenue perspective, but
country.
But here's the thing. Who gets the money? It's just like the whole wind turbine and solar panel,
which is a big deal.
Right. It's a bit. So my county, they're wanting to put this big solar farm in, and the commissioners have said, okay, it's not going to lower property taxes.
Right.
It's not going to lower electrical rates, but what it's going to do is it's going to give the county more money. Why in the world do we want to do that? So let's have bigger government. I mean, that's how places like where we live turn into New York City. Right. My man is in the manufacturing, and he said they have issues getting parts needed to make whatever their orders are for. Yeah. Strange, interesting fact is that during wartime, ladies' jewelry increases. Yeah, probably that. I don't know if it's that whole, shopping therapy thing,
I don't know.
No. I want to buy locally with small businesses, and some stuff is only made in China. Yeah, and that's sad.
Yeah.
Credit cards are not all bad if you use them correctly while one can. We never pay interest on ours, but have earned hundreds of dollars, likely in the thousands now, by using it. Rain Country, I couldn't agree more. If you can use the system against the system, that's a wonderful thing. It just takes a lot of discipline, and a lot of people find it hard to do.
And you have to be on it.
Yeah. Off topic, but I did hear something. Bake Creeker seeds, they are still good for heirloom seeds. Is that true? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I've heard. I don't buy from Baker Creek.
Yeah. Matt Mortensen also said, where's a good place to buy vegetable seeds? So we get ours primarily from the Buffalo Seed Company.
And then I have a couple coming from, I think we're going to order from Territorial. Some turnips, some specialty turnips, and some.
Tell them about your bag of turnips.
Some microgreens. I got a 50-pound bag of purple top turnips to dump on the east side of the dam that's bare to just put something over there so that it stops some of the runoff into the pond, and then the deer can eat them, and so maybe we can too.
Yeah, so you guys heard that right. She bought a 50-pound bag of turnip seeds.
Purple top.
50-pound bag.
Purple top. Yeah, so we went from eating a lot of squash
right
to eating a lot of turnips.
I'm looking for seed potato company. Any suggestions? Yeah, we use ours from the previous year every year. So Bethany grows her own. I have no idea where to get, because I wouldn't recommend Tractor Supply. I wouldn't recommend for seed potatoes.
Oh, no, I would go to the nursery or somebody local around, like on a marketplace or something that
maybe on Etsy.
I don't know, Etsy. I have not had a good Etsy story.
Yeah.
I tried to get on Etsy to buy some of Miss Lippy's voodoo spice, and I couldn't get it.
Hippocrates says, "Oh yeah, I've done 50-pound bag of dandelion." No, I'm sorry. I thought that said dandelions. I was going to think, man, your neighbor is going to love you. No, that's not what that says. Dakins.
Okay.
Or cover crop. I thought it said dandelions.
Yeah, I've put quite a bit of white clover and yellow sweet clover out for the bees.
Yeah, so that'd be interesting. A 90-pound bag of turnips. Oh my God.
50.
Nothing. 50-pound bag. $90. Yeah. Yeah. Hills Mills Homestead says your local co-op is good, or is best
for potatoes.
Haas Tools and Ace Hardware for seed potatoes.
Yeah, I didn't know Ace Hardware. We don't even have one of those around here anymore, do we?
No, but Haas Tools isn't far away.
Where's Haas Tools?
Thank you, Jules. Jules put a place where to get seed potatoes. Rain Country says, "Hey, Alabama, we have talked about it in a few different videos, but would not be a bad idea to go over it again. Maybe 5 odd ways to earn side cash." Yeah, that's a good one. Be way to go with the 50-pound bags of turnip top seeds. Also, maybe need to get a 50-pound bag of squash. No.
I have saved a lot of my squash seeds. So, but it literally only took 2 plants, and I've got all the complaints I can handle.
So the next dessert for Tag will be squash pie. Well, Bee last week, Mandy made me squash cake. It was actually pretty good.
Next will be turnip cake.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the purple top turnips. They're kind of spicy.
I want to try to get some and mash them up like potatoes. And I know you've done it.
I've done that. It was still kind of spicy.
Yeah. All right. Let me see here. And bam, there it is, the squash topic. Of course. You know, they're going to let me get out of the squash things at all. And I would be bringing up the gnomes if Grumpy Acres was in the.
You can tell Rain about her dessert. What do you think?
Oh yeah. So
what do you think of that?
Rain Country.
I messed it up so bad.
My wife decided that she was going to make one of your recipes on the wood cook stove. So she made your peppermint. You tell it, because
it was the peppermint pie, and it had nothing to do with the wood cook stove. I messed it up because I literally listened to the video like 6 times. I was hauling wood in, and I'm like, "Yep, I got this." And then I was trying to record and trying to remember, and then I was like, "Let me just go back to the video," and boop, there goes the recipe popped up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I got this," and just started sticking everything into the pan. And then I was like, "This doesn't look right."
No, you got to tell them the whole story about the gelatin and the pectin. Yeah. You got to tell them the whole story.
So the recipe calls for gelatin, which in my brain went pectin. And so, I have, many different kinds of pectin. I do have gelatin, but it's in a bucket and it's hidden. So I did not even think about it. I thought it was pectin. I had it in my brain, pectin. And so got the pectin out, put it in there. And I'm like, go look at the recipe. And I was like, oh no, that was gelatin. And so first of all, I messed up because I put pectin in it and not gelatin. Secondly, I stuck 2 cups of milk in the bowl with the candies to melt instead of a little bit, and then trying to fluff the other, which I thought wasn't going to be that big of a deal because I was like quadrupling the recipe anyway so that I could share it with others. It did not. Oh, and she used her handheld beater, which I have, and I didn't even bother to go get. So I'm like, I got this. I'll just use my whisk, and tried to whisk it, which then I'm like, oh my gosh, my arm is getting really tired. I'm like, oh, shoot. So I'm like, okay, it's dark. So that means I cannot be using the electric mixer. So I'm like, where's my beater? Where's my beater? My handheld beater. And I'm like, oh, it's got to be packed in the processing kitchen. And of course it was dark. So needless to say, Tag ate some of it last night, and he said, "That's weird." Those are his exact words. That's weird. And
Yeah.
I went back. After as I'm sitting here trying to make whipping cream with my whisk, and I'm like, man, my hand is getting tired. And I go back and I look at my recipe, and I'm like, oh crap! I should not have done all that like that.
Yeah. Well, the truth is, it came out wonderful. I had 2 pieces yesterday.
So I've got a vegan one to share, and then I got the gelatin out. I'm gonna make an animal byproduct one with
Dolores says, sounds like the time I used moringa powder instead of baking powder in my muffins. Oh, how funny.
Moringa powder, isn't that green?
Mr. Rain says, whoops, too much multitasking.
Ugh. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Heidi says, I usually end up in tears when that kind of thing happens to me. Yeah, I actually thought it was pretty cool, and it actually tasted real good, and I ate it, so it was
that
fine. But
weird.
Yeah, and Mr. Rain says, me too, because Mrs. Rain makes him eat it. Yeah. And my wife uses words like, you just haven't tried it hard enough. You know, just words like that.
You get to choose.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, it was wonderful. Heidi, I encouraged Bee to send you the video because I know you were talking about people who use your recipes.
How to
send them in. Recipes. And I said that would be a good example Bee could send in and say, you know, even if the recipe wasn't exactly as it said, look, you could still have a good product in the end.
You could still eat it.
There's still a lot of room for error.
There's still plenty of calories in there.
It was like a flat pink pancake.
It was flat. It was flatter than it should have been.
It was good.
Yeah,
it was good. All right, ready? Get back to serious.
Sorry. Yes.
You're okay. Let's go to serious. Okay.
Yes.
So I was reading today about economics, and I thought you guys would find this interesting. But so I kind of stuck them all together. But and tell me what you guys think this all has in common, because I find this interesting. So Yahoo is laying off 20% of their workforce. Microsoft is doing layoffs. News Corp's doing layoffs. Amazon, New York Times, Disney. Google lost 7.7% of their value. GitHub is laying off 10%. Facebook announced 22,000 layoffs. And Salesforce is going through layoffs. Any idea what all these have in common? Because I found this to be an interesting point.
That they're all laying off.
Yeah, but what do they have in common? What do all the companies have in common, smart butt? They're all laying off.
That's what they have in common. I don't know. They're all where we get information.
Yeah, Evie says woke social media. Yeah, and that. Although that is true.
Well, Disney.
Yeah, what's interesting about this list is many of these people are companies that other companies spend ad spend with.
Ad spend.
Yeah. Right. So these are, companies spend money with these companies to advertise, to organize business, and to do those things. So what I find interesting about this is all of these tech companies that other companies spend ad spend with, is this a sign of contraction in the private sector? Does this mean, and actually I have a theory to this, does this mean that private companies are slowing down their ad spend, which is what's causing, or one of the reasons that's causing
why would they do
these
that?
companies layoff? Because the economics aren't so great. Right? I mean, if you're going to contract, think about it from your own home. If you were going to contract, what's the first thing you would do? You'd get rid of the unnecessaries.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or whatever you would consider to be unnecessary.
Yeah.
Right? And so would your ad in the New York Times be one of those unnecessaries?
Right.
Media, weapons junkie, you're exactly right. Media and technology. And because these are mostly media companies, I'm wondering if that's a good sign of contraction in the private sector. Or here's my other theory. Or it's because the cost of borrowing money is up because they've been raising interest rates. And all of these companies, they don't show profits. So I think it's maybe even a combination of the two.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Mr. Reed says, nothing to see here.
Yeah, there's nothing to see here, you guys. I'm making all of this up. You know, they say that 76.5% of all statistics are made up. I think it's very interesting. Johnny says contractions and inflation are birthing pains. Well, they are birthing pains, but Johnny, what I would ask you, is it also a sign of deflation? Right? Is it a sign of people contracting? And I don't know this. I mean, I don't work for 3M or Disney or Google or Amazon or any of those. Right? But I just find it fascinating that it's all kind of in that sector just a little bit. And then what causes that sector? And, you know, I think it's interesting, and I'll go through some statistic with you guys that I find super fascinating. So, you know, as you study civilizations, you know, you can go back to like the Romans or the Weimar Republic prior to, you know anything about the Weimar Republic, by the way?
No, I don't.
Okay. So the Weimar Republic was in Germany, right? And prior to Hitler, right, they printed money, and there were stories about them having wheelbarrows of money to buy a loaf of bread.
Yep.
Okay, this is in our history books, right?
Yep.
And you know what came out of that? What came out of all of that excess printing? The rise of Adolf Hitler. Because Adolf Hitler then came in and he said, we can be great again, right, to the German people. And he got this big support behind him because people were so tired of what was going on.
Yikes.
And so the moral, what I'm saying is, you know, all of this massive debt and all of this massive printing that is going on, will it cause the death of a democracy or a republic and the rise to a dictator, which is exactly what happened in Germany.
Right. Yikes. Thanks for putting that in my head.
Guys, I'm a thinker. That's how I am. I look at all of this kind of stuff. But so let's talk about the state of the economy real quick, about things that are going on that don't usually get reported. So as of this morning, we are $31.5 trillion in debt.
Oh, man.
Okay, as of this morning. But what's interesting about that is they advertise this number. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but if you guys have heard that it's also $95,000 per citizen. Every single citizen is in debt $95,000 if you divided up our national debt. But what's even the number you don't see is if you actually divided it up only by the taxpayers, because not everybody pays taxes.
Okay.
Right? Our brand new granddaughter's not paying taxes.
Right.
Right? If you divide it up, that's $250,000
per taxpayer.
Per taxpayer. Okay, so how do you get rid of debt? 3 ways, right? So they can raise taxes.
Raise taxes.
They can cut spending.
Cut spending.
Or they can inflate it away.
Inflate it away.
Right? So at some point they have to deal with it. So the question is, are they going to raise taxes, cut spending, or inflate it away? I'm just a bearer of just incredible news tonight.
Yeah, I thought we weren't ho-humming it here.
That's not ho-humming it.
That's a lot.
Oh, Pack Rat, I stand corrected, sir, and I'm super glad you're here, but or default. That also was the other option.
And yet the talk of the town is the Grammys.
And the talk of the town is the Grammys, or the Satanist statue they put on top of the courthouse.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Or, you know, or whatever it is. And so I find this super fascinating. Here's the other interesting thing. Okay, so guys, just keep that in your mind that we're $31.5 trillion in debt and $250,000 per taxpayer. Johnny says, or Sunday football. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, right. Or whatever, right? And so here's the other thing is that if you guys have probably noticed recently that we've been raising interest rates. Okay, this is actually a big deal. And the reason why it's a big deal is because the cost to borrow money continues to go up.
Yes.
So why is this a big deal? Because what happened is, like, let's look at the car industry, right? You guys know how when we were going through the COVID thing, cars got super expensive, used cars got crazy, right?
Yes.
And so there's all of these loans out here that companies loaned out at 0% interest at whatever, except now their borrowing costs are going up rampant. See, the companies thought that this 0% policy would continue forever. And so what's going to happen is all of these car companies are left holding the bag now. They own all these used cars for way too much money. They got they can't borrow their way out of it because they're raising interest.
Right.
So the change from that zero interest policy is now shocking our system. Okay, so remember that. Okay, so the change from zero interest is shocking the system and $250,000 per person for our debt. So then home prices, let's look at the, they talk about this, the anything bubble, right?
Yeah, the home prices were crazy.
Yep, crazy, right?
Yes.
And so that creates a balloon, right? A bubble. Right? So as the home prices go up. And so what's crazy is about, everyone's talking about the home price collapse, right?
Go down.
Yeah, think about this. So our lending institutions have made it easy for anybody to get a loan, right? And they've loaned money to people who couldn't afford it, right?
Yes.
Just like back in 2008.
Yes.
We've done nothing to address these issues. Except now what we did, because the investors decided to dump their money into all of these markets like BlackRock, we drove the prices of the houses way up. And everyone's in this frenzy. What happened to our house?
We sold it high.
Just like this, clear at the top of the market, right?
Yep.
And so now you've got all these people in overinflated home prices.
Yes.
With now rising interest rates. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
So just like in 2008, they're going to default, right?
Mm. Well, and defaults are, there are more houses in danger of default today than there was in 2007 prior to the real estate collapse back then. And I'll get into some of those numbers, but I think it's just super, super fascinating. And so home prices, the high was in June.
You're talking about of this year?
This last year. Yep. We sold in May, right?
Yeah.
The high price was the June,
May,
the last one. Yeah. Anyway, when they were at their high, they're down 11% nationwide. If you look at the average, now the real hot markets are down, some of them 20 and 30%, but we're down 11% at an average. Oh, here, and Love Runs Rampant says a great point. Lots more houses and they're still building them. Here's the other thing. So these builders, which brings up another point, right? These builders bought all of this lumber for super high value.
And it's cheaper to build a house.
Well, it isn't anymore. Well, it probably is now. But anyway, so they buy lumbers and OSB at $30 a sheet and $40 a sheet, and they build all of these houses, and now the housing market's turning the other way.
Yeah. And
so now they're going to be caught holding the bag. They're going to have more money wrapped up in the house, and they're going to be able to sell the house worth. But anyway, so house prices have fallen 11%, but they're still up 25% from the pre-COVID numbers. So that bubble still exists, which I think is pretty interesting. Did you guys know that the median house price today in the United States of America is now $400,000?
Wow.
$400,000.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, I missed so many. I'm going to go back. I'm going to try to catch some of this. Weapons Junkie says the derivatives market is said to be close to 900 trillion. This is where the collapse may come from as liquidity is constrained, which is a super great. I think it's the derivatives market. I think there's a lot more to it. I think we are in this with, again, Weapons Junkie. First of all, thank you for the comment. I like this.
It's like a storm.
It's like the perfect storm.
Yeah. All of this and this and this and this and this and it's all.
Yes. Oh, Big Kid said it already. Brewing a perfect storm when you add everything together. Oh yeah, the story gets worse. I just have touched on a few of the things that are going on. But it's gotten absolutely crazy. Yeah, Lynn says 400,000 the median. Yeah, that's crazy. And that was as of today. When I looked it up just today prior to doing the live, as I was trying to get me some of the stuff that we talk about. In these. And so anyway, to make a long, let me see, very possible EV for sure, but you can get 1% off scot-free. I don't know what they're talking about, but just remember that we were fighting against necessity as a plea for every infringement on human freedom. Nunya, I love that. Perfectly said.
Nunya.
I love that. It is the argument of tyrants. It is the creed of the slaves. William Pitt. What a great quote. I tell you guys all of these things in reference to the economics and the things that are going on to tell you there is a fourth way to get us out of this. Right? So we talked about we could raise taxes. That was way number one.
Yeah.
We talked about how we could cut spending.
Yep. And
we talked about how we could inflate it away. Mm-hmm. And then some very smart people in the audience today talked about how we could default. Mm-hmm. But there's a fourth one.
Okay.
And this is where I want to tie all this together. And we're like, the whole reason, Big Kid, you rock.
Oh.
War. war. This is exactly right. This is the last option to get us out of the troubles that we're in, is to take us to war. So I wanted to talk to you guys about this a little bit. So I would make the argument, and before I make this argument, and before I get people mad at me, I want to tell you something. I'm a veteran, okay, of my country, and I love my country. And I'm not going anywhere. Okay, this is my home, and our country's worth fighting for. But I think we're the bad guy. And let me explain to you what I mean by this. I know this is harsh, okay? So let's take a look at China real quick, okay? So China is a large country with a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
China 40 years ago created a policy called the one-child policy.
Yep.
And so for the last 40 years, people were only allowed to have, up until recently, one child. And so if you look at their population graph, it's inverted. Okay, it looks like this. Look like an upside down triangle.
Meaning
so they have more old people than they have young people, right? The triangle's top heavy. When you really want it the other way, right? So they're aging out at a rate as fast as anybody in the country. And in fact, what's interesting is most of the modern world, and this would include France and Germany and the United States and Russia and a lot of them, we all have inverted triangles now. The only really modern country that doesn't today is India. India has the right shaped triangle, right? Because the reason why you don't want an inverted triangle is because you've got to be able to pay for all those old people.
Yeah.
And you want a lot of workers in a small older class, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what keeps the economy going. Remember we talked about how the baby boomers were moving out, right? Okay. So in China, this is happening at a crazy rate. Okay. They don't have enough people to support their economy anymore. 90% of the fuel that goes to China is imported to China. Okay. So they have to come through a series of straits, a couple, aircraft carriers or a couple destroyers in that straits, and you could really put China to their knees. I do not believe that China is a conventional threat to us. And you heard the word I used, conventional. Okay. I don't really think that they are a conventional threat. So now let's look at Russia. Russia has the same inverted pyramid, right? And most of what's produced in Russia is produced in a very small place, right? Like the Siberia and all of that, that's not really all that inhabitable, not a lot of production. If you look at all the production from Russia, it's really down by the Ukrainian border. Interesting how we're fighting in Ukraine, right? And all of that. And so I only tell you guys all this to talk about is that I really am kind of getting to a point where I believe now that America's trying to pick a fight. And that, I'm not suggesting Putin's a good guy because he is certainly not. He is certainly not. And I'm not suggesting China's a bunch of great people because they are certainly not. But I really don't think that, I think that the United States of America is trying to pick a fight. And let me give you an example about this. You guys remember the Nord Stream pipeline that blew up?
Yeah.
And, nobody knows what happened. And everyone says the Russians did it. And then the Ukrainians did it and blah, 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 blah. But it was coming out this week that pipeline was blown. The order to blow the pipeline was given by President Biden. And the reason for this is that it would separate Germany and Russia. Because then Germany would need to get its, petrodollar, right? It would need to get its oil from another source besides Russia. So Putin knows about this now. And he's, talking about all these 72-hour warnings and, talking about all of this stuff. But it seems to me that we are picking a fight. And I'd be very interested to hear. And I know I let a lot of them go by, but it seems to me that we're trying to pick a fight. So, and, Sweet Savvy Word says, Tag, are you just getting that? Joe has been poking the bear since the get-go. Well, there's been a lot of theories about that, Sweet Savvy Words. And what I really tried to do is understand both sides of the argument. A very, very wise person once said, if you can't argue the other side, you don't have all the facts. And so I'm just a researcher and going into it, but it really is appearing to me more and more like that's really the case. And it's hard for me to accept because, again, I'm a vet and I love my country and, and all of this stuff. So I hope that's not the case, but okay. Money said, let me go back up here and see if I missed a whole bunch. My man and I were just talking about how if we go to war, his company can easily pivot to manufacturing military equipment and other goods. They did in World War II. Yeah, and they'll have to, I would imagine. Tag, my neighbor property is going up for $450,000. That's a 3-bedroom house on 19 acres. She just asked me to come and clean all of the tools out of her basement. I started boxing all the tools up Monday.
Wow.
Yeah.
19 acres?
Yeah, Terminator. You should take a video of it and we'll get it up, We did it, says New Day Farm. I'm not sure what we did. Oh, you're talking about the pipeline. Yep. China and Russia have been buying gold and silver hand over fist for years. That's how they've set up their alternative economy and gotten away from the dollar. Except they're not away from the dollar. I mean, the fact of the matter is China and Russia buy American debt all the time. Now are they less dependent on it? Maybe. I think, Russia certainly is, because how is it that Russia's GDP has, its gross domestic product has gone up since the sanctions? Any idea? No. Okay. Well, what's interesting, did you know Germany's GDP has gone down? And most of Europe's GDP has gone down, but Russia, after the sanctions, GDP has actually gone up. Explain that one. The warmongers have been just picking the right time. Yep. Yes, I agree. The old diaper ice cream guy did it. Tag, we were paid mercenaries. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, Biden gave the order. Yeah, that was an interesting read. I'm fine with it. Those can want to pick a fight, be on the front line, can't have a war if no one goes. Yeah, the problem is they can hold a lot of stroke over you, I mean, yeah, personally, I believe Slow Joe is just a puppet. I actually agree with you still, Ross. I think he's the perfect puppet, and I think you're actually going to see the entire Democratic Party turn on him right here. And they're going to turn on him because they don't want him to run. They will blame it on him. He's the bad guy. They'll put up some new hope and change candidate, and
off
we go. Yeah, because I think it's pretty hard to argue that Biden isn't slipping. Putin knew it was coming. Yeah, World War II is what pulled us out of the Great Depression. Rhonda says, yep, I agree. That's why I said the fifth option, is to, take us to war.
Yeah. We've been watching the, what is it, America in Color?
Yeah. Yeah, talk about it. What is it?
We've been watching America in Color.
Well, apparently I'm the only one been watching.
Well, you stay up a lot longer than I do, that's for sure. Well, and a lot of it you already knew anyway. So.
Yeah, I love history.
Yeah.
Rain Country says, I suspect a slippage has been planned all along. Mm-hmm. See, I kind of think that too. And he was the perfect puppet. But here's the thing, at the end of the day, I don't know. I mean, does anybody in here actually believe he's the most popular president in the history of the world?
Yeah.
And I'm no Republican fan.
Well,
you guys.
he is.
There can't be. It just cannot be.
He had more votes than anybody. I mean, he is the most popular.
Yeah. You believe that? Let's hear your best Joe Biden cheerlead.
Do you want me to fall off of my bike, fall out of my chair, or get lost in the Oval Office?
Stay home, don't enlist, don't re-enlist, stay home and defend our own country when needed. Excuse me. Crunk. We are still hurtling out of control price-wise for homes in Middle Tennessee. No income tax. People are fleeing a half dozen states to be stacked in CAFO apartments in the big city, big chitty. Yeah, vote no. Actually, tell you something interesting about voting. I really think that a bunch of us should get together and really work hard to vote for none of the above. Like actually get a campaign out there that says, because you'll never win, it won't matter.
Yeah.
But if you could literally get 1 million people to vote,
what's it going to do?
To write in none of what it would tell.
It's not going to matter.
It's not going to matter, but what it will do is it will show the discontent. It ain't going to do anything other than it will show it.
American Roots was given a Sharpie when she voted.
Oh yeah. Hey, American Roots, how are you?
It's not going to matter.
Yeah. Is it Jess? Is it Joe? Or is it the whole crew? Marsha, Marshall, right?
I will never forget that.
Yeah, the cheating was so in our face. Yes, it was. Our military was created to defend our own borders in the first place. That's what it was supposed to be. It sure seems like we're always at war. And doesn't it seem like they're just looking for another one? I mean, you guys think that, that being over in Afghanistan was for a long time was just, it was just to keep it going, get to war with Russia and China, and it's a real war, Mm-hmm. I believe that, and that we are all going to Disney for vacation this summer. Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, Brewster's Millions, the Philippine nomad says. Yeah. And that's kind of where I got that from.
Yeah.
Is,
none of the above.
None of the above. American Root says, hey, guys, it's the whole family.
The whole family.
So it's Marsha, Marshall. Right? And Joe and Jess. I wonder why they say Marsha, Marshall. Does Marsha have like split personalities?
No, Marsha.
No, I know, I get it. I was making a joke. Yeah, tag and be 2024. Yeah, I can't make a difference.
I got to plant a garden.
Yeah.
I got 50 pounds of turnips to get down.
Right.
And like 300 trees.
Yeah, I've been a Republican my whole life. Might go Libertarian moving forward. So sad. Yeah, I was a registered Republican storm writer for a long, long time. And you know what I did? Is I went and just become unaffiliated and said, I'm no longer telling you how I lead. I'm going to, if I vote, I'm going to vote for the best candidate, et cetera, et cetera. But
it doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters. War is big business, says Johnny. It absolutely is. If a third vote for none of the above, how legitimate is, let me see, if a third vote for none of the above, how legitimate is the election? Well, I would argue it's as legitimate as it is now, Pack Rat. I mean, how legitimate is it anyway? They know the outcome already, and you're not going to actually elect none of the above. But I think if we could take a stand that says we're pissed, I mean, they're clearly not getting it, right?
They already know the discontent and don't care.
Yeah. Rain Country says, I actually wrote in nobody and gave the scripture from Joshua 24:13. Yeah. See, if we could get a bunch of people to do that, like if you could get 1 million people to write in Joshua 24:13
with their Sharpie.
Yeah. I think that maybe a certain amount of votes means something. Your vote isn't wasted. It shows what the people want. It shows that Joe Biden's the most popular president in the history of time.
I mean, that's what the votes came in, and he got more votes than any standing president in history.
Yeah, I just have a hard time believing that your vote matters in that. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I'm not above learning, but there's just no way you could convince me of that. Yeah, not all the wars are declared. Yeah, yo at Nomad. I thought about registering as a Democrat and voting conservative. Actually, Jules, I've thought about that too, because at least you could vote in the primary, or at least where we live, you'd be voting in the Democratic primary, but that's assuming that the vote counts.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it came down to.
Yeah.
They counted the votes.
Hey, Kentucky Sustainable Living. How are you, my friend? I will see you soon.
Mm-hmm.
If politicians ignore what the people want, what's the use in voting? See, Johnny, that's kind of what I'm thinking. If
ding, 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 ding. Yeah. Where's the bell? That's it. That's
okay. What's that mean? Tag
right
you doing something for that cot?
Cough, probably.
Oh, cough. No. The Lord will come before a world war. Can't let it get that bad. Yeah. Let me see here. It's the machines, says New Day Farm. Yeah.
That for the voting.
If he's that popular, then I'm the Easter Bunny. That was 1,000% rigged. See, that's the thing I have a hard time with the vote. And you could argue with me that maybe the local votes matter a little more. Maybe. I mean, but here's the thing. Even our commissioners, and I live in a super conservative place, said when they were talking about the solar farms and all that, it's coming whether you like it or not.
They said, where was it? What were their words? It doesn't matter.
What you want, it's coming. Or I have it
right here. It does not matter what you want. It's coming anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll be voted out this next time if I have anything to say about it.
It's even on our.
Oh yeah, that's fascinating. Show them that.
It's on our new phone book that just came in the mail. Does anybody use these still?
Yeah. Well, what's funny about that to me is that we don't have wind turbines in my county. But it's all it's all this crazy propaganda stuff. Yep. Hand walk a paper vote all the way.
Hand rock.
Smedley Butler, retired United States Marine Corps Major General and 2-time Medal of Honor recipient, wrote "War is a Racket" in 1935. It's still timely. Yeah, great quote. I had a vision: martial law, UN troops in one neighborhood at the time, 18-wheelers cleaning out food, med, ammo, weapons. At PO chip programmed. Go here, not there. God, I hope not. If he is the most popular president, then I'm Miss America. See, I just have a hard time.
Well, I guess you're Miss America.
Apparently, yeah. Jesus says votes don't count. I still vote to poke at them, though. They get my opinion whether they want it or not. Now, see, there's some value in that.
Yeah.
I buy that.
You still went and voted.
I did. Yeah, but I'm trying to think about how to be counterproductive to the machine. And I think, like Jules was talking about going and registering Democrat and just voting in the Democratic primaries, or, go register something totally different. Don't let them count your vote ahead of time. Right? Like make them actually work for it. But yeah, Rickster says, what's a phone book?
I know, right?
Half of our registered voters did not vote during the most voted time ever. This is why I have a hard time believing it. Our phone book's still a thing. Yeah, look, we got one. Check that out. And I think it's interesting how it has wind turbines on it, which we don't have any wind turbines.
This is good to start fires with.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can wipe your bottom with it if you have nothing else.
Yep. If you put a turbine on your property, you lose access to it. Yeah, I ain't putting anything on my property. Zero. I promise you that.
Well, these have addresses in them too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's called a phone book. Well,
I knew it had phone numbers in it, but it has the names and the addresses.
It's always had addresses.
I've never. How long has it been since I've looked at a phone book?
Have you ever looked at a phone book?
Well, yeah, but not since cell phones came out.
Okay, Johnny, then jelly beans it is, and I want no complaints about it. Yeah. K-Bonk says, heavy tag, happy Friday. Yeah, happy Friday. It's actually, guys, it's not depressing to me. I think it's that knowledge is power.
Yeah, we just need to be aware of the situation and do what we can do.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah, I think it's just more proof. If you look at all of the, the social scores they're talking about. And guys, this is important to this whole circle too.
Yeah.
Right? Because they will maximize their tax revenue. Remember, we talked about the 5 ways, right? They can maximize their tax revenue by raising taxes or driving more revenue. Well, if they were taxing you on every garage sale, everything that went on, they're in a cashless society. They're going to get the maximum amount of revenue without having to raise taxes, which would be very unpopular.
Right.
And so I think it all ties together. But here's the thing. I think there's hope in all of this.
Which is why a parallel society is so important.
So important. And, I don't think we can totally, get free, meaning totally away from the system. But what if I could get where 80% of my needs were met outside of the ESG? Then them docking me for buying a gas-powered chainsaw isn't as big a hit, right?
Right.
And it creates, I think, choices. The freer I am, the more choices I have. So I think there's actually a whole lot of positives that goes into it.
Well, yeah. That's why just knowing some of those things is a big deal.
Lynn makes a great point. Discontent is what they want. Absolutely, it's what they want. Because we're fighting each other instead of fighting them.
Right.
And that's why I think it's important, guys, that I stressed you. All these things that I tell you guys, all these statistics, everything I look up is not meant to be doom and gloom. It's meant to empower and say, okay, if this is the way they're going to go about this, and if America's really trying to pick a war, then war is inevitable. Because if they really want one, they get one, right? Just how it is. If the ESG system is really going to measure these things, how do I position myself in life to take advantage of that?
Yeah. To better your own situation.
Yep. So I think it's actually encouraging. I was talking to my middle son on the phone, talking about how I now believe that there's a chance that the internet saves the world, which I know would be totally contrary to everything you've ever heard me say.
Huh.
Right. And the reason why I say this is because I believe the internet could be the death of mainstream media, for example.
The what would be death?
That the internet could be the death of mainstream media.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Because you're going to have all these individual sources. And maybe we get to a point where winners and losers are really picked by merit and not by, some government place based upon a viewer count or whatever, Like, for example, I don't watch any local news at all. If I want weather, I go to Ryan Hall, y'all. I think if I find it to be way, way better information. So I think there's a lot of hope in it. So I've never been a Republican or a Democrat, started as an independent, now a libertarian. Yeah. Yeah, I was always a Republican. I've never been a Democrat. I've never been an independent or a libertarian, but today I'm an American. And I'm going to try really hard not to let them, Scainsborough, classify me into anything. In anything. I mean, I'm going to fight everything they try to want me to check a box. AFJ Third, how are you? Welcome. Let me see, we've been online here. I've won 2 auctions for new to me heavy work boots for about $50, stacking shoe leather. How cool is that? Rain Country would love to meet you someday. Yeah, they're great people. Every time I became very fond of them when Heidi put up the ungovernable post that day. I'm like, all right, we'll get along fine. We need all of those doctors that quit because of the pandemic to start the parallel medical system. Dolores, it's already happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's happened right here where I live. We have a series of hospitals that accept no insurance right here. And so it is happening. The convention that I'm going to in Georgia, there's going to be a lot of doctors down there talking, and I can't wait to get back and tell you guys, all that I've learned.
Yeah.
Ryan Hall, y'all's the best weather. CEV, I think so too. I think it's way better than watching, on there. Weatherman Plus, I've watched some too. Yep.
We have 2 different weathers on our phones, and they both say the opposite.
Yeah. But that's not really watching a weatherman. That's just looking at your local thing.
Radar.
Yeah. So like Ryan Hall, what I like to do is get on and say, okay, what's the next week hold?
Okay.
Because homesteading and living off grid, you're always chasing
You
the
have
weather.
to, yeah.
You want to know what's kind of coming up, down the road. Rain Country says, I consider myself a libertarian for a time, but then decided I did not want to be pigeonholed into a political title. I could not agree more, Rain Country. And that's kind of where I'm at too. Sunflower Power Pool has changed the designation of the wind farms in their area, which now allow curtailment. Towers are being turned off. Interesting. Does anyone here know of sovereign citizenship and land patents experienced or involved in it? I've done, Mr. Rain, I've done some reading on this, but I am not experienced at it. And I would love to find an attorney. Anybody knows an attorney that specializes in this?
Aren't they talking about that in Georgia?
They're talking about it all over, babe. And this is a very hot topic, but I don't want to give any advice because I think this could get you in a whole lot of trouble too if this is not done correctly.
I thought that there was a specific person talking about that in Georgia.
Nothing I'm aware of. But anyway, let me see. Conk Tag, what do you do for fun? So I was going to make a joke right here about how I research economics. No, but actually, K-Bonk, when I'm at my happiest, I'm hanging out with my family and I'm, doing those kind of things.
Swimming in the dirty water.
Swimming in the pond, with my kids or building, those kind of things. But if it's just me by myself, I love to shoot. I have my own range. I like to play at targets. I also love to build woodwork. So whether that's, build tables or chairs or you guys can't see it, but like this desk that I'm sitting at right here is a big river table desk. And it's like 12 feet long. And so I like doing stuff like that. It's peaceful to me. I'll turn on a podcast or an old movie. Like when I was working on her solar dehydrator, I turned on Escape from New York on the TV, and just kind of zone into my own thing. Are the things I probably like doing the most for fun. Yeah, mostly. Yeah,
but you don't even really listen to it. It's just on for noise because you're sanding and you're grinding and
yes, this is why I'm going to be a dork right here. This is why I like to watch movies for the 76th time.
I hate that you do that.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is because I can miss parts. I can be sanding, and when I turn it off, I know right where I'm at in the movie.
I know, but we don't have to do that laying in the bed with for that 20 minutes of before sleepy time, and you're like, let's watch Waterworld, and I'm like, ugh.
Waterworld's a good movie.
Patriot, or I mean, geez, the words by heart.
Yeah. Hey, Alabama says, I wish I could find a doctor. The ones that don't take insurance are so expensive, I can't use them. You know what's crazy? Ours is what do we pay?
They're not insurance. Yeah, we pay $75 per person.
That's what we pay $75 per month per person, and they take care of all of our care.
Well, we call in, whatever. Hey, I got a scratchy throat. Hey, I got, pink eye. Hey, I need stitches.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're coming.
Yeah.
Or your prescription's in locker number 4.
Yeah. Tell them about the lockers. That's super fascinating how that works.
They have lockers outside of the building. And so they own their own building. And when you need something, like if it's something that that you need, something you've done before, or, oh, hey, let me throw you some amoxicillin, or an inhaler or whatever, some progesterone, but not progesterone. What was the anti-inflammatory starts with a P for the lungs, breathing. What was that? You have to,
I don't know.
Prednisone. So they get you your prescription. They put it in a locker outside of the building. So the doctor lives just down the driveway from the clinic. And so he takes his 4-wheeler and he drives up to the clinic and he puts your medicine in one of the lockers. They're numbered. He puts a lock on it and he texts you or calls you what the code is. You drive to the clinic and you get to your locker and you open up the locker and you take your prescription out and then just lock it back. And then he, shows up the next day and cleans it out, whatever, so all hours of the day. If you need stitches, he'll meet you there and he'll stitch you up, or he'll, you need a whatever shot, then he'll get you that, tetanus or whatever. You just call him and he meets you there. Yeah. Just drives his 4-wheeler down the driveway and drives it back home.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Yeah, look, prednisone.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. It's because these guys are all smart.
Yeah.
Homestead brainstorming clinic, my goal.
Yeah, their goal is to keep you out of the hospital. So they're like, what do you need? Yeah. What do you need? What do you want? I was having trouble breathing and I was like, never had this before. I can't breathe. And they said, where are you? I'm like, I'm at Walmart. And they were like, come here. And he walked out, he put the oxygen on to check my oxygen level. And he gave me an inhaler and a prescription to progesterone, which I'd never had before. He said, if you need it, you have it. If you don't need it, try not to take it. So I took the prescription and I went home and used the inhaler.
Yeah.
So
I love it. And you can call them for anything. We've got a good enough relationship with them now. I can call them and say, hey, I need, can you call me in, an antibiotic? This is what's going on. And they'll just call it. They don't even have to go.
Yeah.
But I think that's ultimately where I think we want to go with all of it. Right.
Yeah. Well, they talk to you on the phone too. Like, what are your symptoms? What are you experiencing? Do you need to come in? Do you want me to see you? One of the neighbors, he's like, I need an antibiotic. I'm 50 years old. I know what I need. This has happened before. And he knew what he wanted and he knew what he needed and he got it and he was all better.
Yeah. Well, what I want everybody to hear out of all of this, if it's going on today, you just have to create it and recreate it and recreate it and recreate it. And I think we'll be okay. Mr. Rain says sovereign citizenship and land patents, if it is legitimate, one would have to be very knowledgeable when you get pulled over for not having a license plate, driver's license, or didn't pay our tax. Yeah, I would love to find, if anybody knows an attorney who specializes in these things, I would love to take a deep dive into exactly how this works.
Yeah.
I would love to do that. Let me see here. Is there someone on Freestanding that teaches some medical? Patriot Nurse maybe could be interested, not sure, or someone. Yeah, I'd love to get Patriot Nurse on there.
Anybody know her, reach out to her.
Anybody know her, reach out to her. I'm unaware of anybody that's super up on medical. I've got some people in our community who are, and people who get into this chat who are, but I'd love to find some.
Well, yeah, because then we could spread, if they're willing to spread their knowledge to help a community of 14,000 people to just,
Love Runs Rampant says, be stuck on progesterone.
Progesterone, yeah. Yeah.
You and me, baby, we're stuck like glue.
Yeah, that.
Personally, I'm going to make a trek to Old Mexico to get antibiotics. Yeah, Starla,
you could, but you don't have to.
You could, but you don't have to. There's places out there you can get that stuff from.
Mm-hmm. There's a place that you were just listening to, a podcast. The guy was saying to go to this. Who was that? You were listening to some guy and he was like, these are real medications. You just call this number or go to this website.
Yeah, I don't remember what the website was. See, we got it so lucky here because they have those.
Well, yeah, we just go to our local guy who knows us.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is what you need. This is what you know.
Yeah. Hey, Alabama, says Mr. Rain. I think you can move in and out depending upon what you need from what I've heard from some. Dr. Bergman did a couple videos on it last year. Yeah, real doctor. Attorneys are in bed with the courts. Not all of them, Johnny. I'm telling you, I know a couple of them who would fit right here in this chat, like-minded, and you'd never know.
They just do different kind of attorney.
Yeah, I think there's some out there. We just got to see if we can find them. And I would love to find an attorney who would let us pick their brain, and I'll put them on YouTube, and we'll sit and have a good conversation about it. Get yourself a good, thorough medical guide, hard copy. I have had one for years and was able to accurately diagnose 2 conditions, one very rare. This was confirmed when going in for tests, says Rain Country. I think that's a great idea.
What kind of journal, what kind of medical guide? Like a desk reference of some kind?
Yeah, because we have books like Where There Is No Doctor, Where There Is No Dentist, some of those things. But I think if there's a big hardback or some kind of,
or even soft, I mean,
whatever. I'm more just referring to a big manual.
Oh, you're thinking like a desk reference.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we should all have those kind of things on hand.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing is, there's I know a lot of nurses who are in this chat. And maybe we should set up if you guys go over to Freesteading, there is a group over there called The Clinic.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Right. Go over there.
With that?
Huh?
Where are you going with that? That's a good idea.
Well, since it's a good idea, why don't you fill in my idea?
Are you saying
Tell me how good it is.
To put suggested books of reference for?
Yeah, not just suggested books for that, but also if you have a question about something medically, I know there's some great nurses who are in there.
Well, and what works
that are in this chat right now. I don't want to rat on them and say, hey, this person's a nurse, but
and doctors that's what I love about the community, because the Freesteading community, because there are, not everything works. Every body is different, and what works for me does not work for you. Yep. And so, one doctor or nurse may say to try this, to where another one would say, hey, try this. And, they both worked for different people. So, I know that I need, like magnesium. I went to Rain Country. I know she has a video on it, but I cannot search individual people on there. Like I can't go to Rain Country and type in magnesium on her thing, because it just comes up
magnesium over
everybody. And then like page 3 and I still don't see it, and I'm like, it wasn't that long ago.
But why don't you just go to YouTube to Rain Country and type in magnesium?
Because I'm like, that's what I'm saying. It goes through. It doesn't. You said through YouTube. It doesn't go just to her page.
You can just go to YouTube and go to her page and search magnesium.
Not from her page. It goes through everything.
No, I'm talking about her page on YouTube.
YouTube, yes, that I know.
Okay, that's what I would do.
Whose baby was that?
That was somebody in Freesteading.
Oh,
but I just clicked on it. Okay, anyway. Let me see.
Anyway.
Half Bubble Prum says, I'm asthmatic. Inhaler didn't help me anymore. Doctor told me to mix local honey, black pepper into a paste and eat it. Opened me right up. Interesting. Yeah. What type of Amy B says, what type of tutorials do people want? Backcountry skill. Yeah. So if you guys are interested in some tutorials, I think we got to be careful giving medical advice.
Yes.
But I think but I think you can give a tutorial without giving advice.
Yeah.
Right. This is
what I do.
Right. This is what I do. I think that's okay. So just be careful with that. Don't get yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
Hippocrates says can be real sketchy, whether intended or not, if someone took the comment as medical advice. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. The one I have is called the American Medical Association of Medicine.
Write that down.
Okay. Got it. The American Medical Association Encyclopedia of Medicine.
Yes.
Yeah. Written by Dr. Blister. Yeah. That's what Mr. Rain says. Yeah. And co-authored by the old Callus. So a blister and a callus walk into a bar.
You're going to get your butt beat.
Yeah, probably. I knew I'd find it eventually, says Jules. This is the site where I learned more than anywhere else about sovereign citizenship.
Oh.
Okay. I'm not advocating mass trousers for individuals, but they need them in the clinic. Type in magnesium and rain country. Yeah, on YouTube, that'll work perfectly. What she's doing is complaining about freesteading because it doesn't search like that.
No, not on freesteading. It was YouTube.
Yeah. You go to the main YouTube search and type in the channel name, then topic you are looking for.
I tried to go to her thing.
Oh my goodness, I missed a whole bunch. Let me see here. I bought a used incubator today. Gonna hatch my own. Good for you.
Good
Prep
job.
for eternity. Yep. Oh, let me see. B in the YouTube search magnesium. Yeah. Okay. Bear Independent has a series of videos on emergency care, refuge medical skills, first aid kits, refuge training. Will teach you how to use the kits. Awesome people. Yeah, they are awesome people, guys. I would go. I mean, that's a great thing, and if that's what all you can get, I would do it. But I would really encourage you to build community and get some medical professionals in your community.
No crap, that totally helped. It did it.
I told you.
Oh my gosh. You know how long I've been looking for that?
Yeah. Yep.
Sheesh.
Yep. Rain Country says, "Oh man, my husband." Yeah. Written by Dr. Blister. That was great.
That is funny.
Yeah. Laugh out loud, Tad. You made me snort. That's good. I like that. Good query standards are what pisses me off on most interweb searches. And apparently the way we do it on freesteading, my wife doesn't like. Do your research. To 100% agreed.
Yes.
Yeah. Amazing how many doctors and nurses won't read my medical alert bracelet or my chart.
Well, yeah, they did that to your dad.
Yeah. Right. My dad, I've had a big issue with the VA for a long, long time. You know, he's gone now, but a long, long time ago, he went into the VA complaining of chest pain, and they didn't read his chart, and they gave him a drug called gentamicin. And what they didn't know is that when my dad was in Vietnam, he was wounded through one of his kidneys.
What do you mean what they didn't know? They should have known.
They should have known, but they didn't.
I mean, his chart knew.
Yeah. And so the gentamicin shut his kidneys down. He was in intensive care for months, spent 8 or 9 or 10 years on a kidney transplant list, going to dialysis all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually successfully sued the VA and won, but it was never the same. And then, COVID came, and that was kind of the end of that. But I'll just leave it at that. But anyway.
But yeah, they don't read the charts. Yeah. They don't read.
But that's not true for all of them.
Not
I know there's some great nurses and doctors out there who totally give a shit about their patients.
And sometimes mistakes just happen.
Yep. And sometimes mistakes just happen. That's right.
Sometimes they're really unfortunate mistakes.
I just don't want to bash, because I know there's some great ones, and I know there's some great ones right here in this chat who actually care.
Yeah.
And, we want to celebrate them. And those are the ones that need to be, mimicked, and, they need to be the trainers, and we need to get rid of the ones that don't,
Yes. Yes. The ones with the crappy bedside manners.
Yes. Juiced green apple and green grapes work great for breathing issues. I like grapes.
Juiced.
Anyway. Internet doesn't have that good smell when the book is opened. Yeah, it does not. I totally agree with that. If you're serious, go take an EMT course, get training, then volunteer or go part-time and get some actual experience. That's great advice. Amy B, I see many people that self-diagnose. Some are correct, but so many are not. Yeah, I really think, trying to figure out how we get good information out without putting anybody in any liability. I think that's a great idea, Going to start tapping trees for maple syrup. Ooh, love that. Goes to doctor. They ask if he's there for a 10-year-old injury, although he's only been there for another issue. Man, they just blow by fast, huh? I'm trying to read them and they just go, and I'm like, oh, where am I at?
And they're hard to read when they're moving.
Yeah. Overwork nurses make mistakes. Oh, see, that's another great point. Love runs rampant.
Yeah.
Is that if you don't have enough staff and they're pulled in so many directions, how are they supposed to win? They're being set up for failure in that case, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how bad is that? Well, I want to make sure that we're supporting them, my chart, my data. Yeah. Yeah. Homeschoolers get medical books and have classes. Kids may be all the help you have in a medical emergency. That's a good point. Yep. A training experience is one thing, but it gets really, really fast in the car, upside down in the ditch during a rainstorm with someone screaming in your ear.
It gets really real.
Yeah.
Real fast.
Yeah.
It gets real.
I would
really fast.
I don't know. Hippocrates. I've never been in that situation, but from a combat perspective, I would imagine that it's very similar in that it just kind of goes blank. Like you don't even really hear them so much anymore.
No, you just do what you're doing.
You're just doing what you're doing, and you're not really. I mean, they're screaming, but it's not. It's like you put this wall.
Yeah,
up.
you're pretty calm in those kind of situations, though.
Yeah. I can tell you, for me, in my experience, in those kinds of situations, it kind of just turns into white noise. Like I'm focused on what I'm doing. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's Hippocrates. And tell me if that's true. I've never been an EMT, so I don't know if that's true as well. They don't pay attention to anything you say anymore. My husband kept telling them that he was having chest pain, and they kept asking his name and insurance information. Well, of course, they want paid. Okay, where in the world? Amy B. This medical discussion is paralleling. Oh, sorry, I blew right by it. Is paralleling the freesteading dating site a little too much. Yeah. Good point. There are a lot of doctors on YouTube who give advice. They have their own channels. Yeah. Freesteading dating sites, says Johnny. Is there a good herbalism course? Do you know of a good course?
I don't.
Because you get all yours in bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Right.
I would just, if there's an issue, I go and research that issue and then forget it for the next time, have to go research it again. But stuff changes too, just like we were talking about the carrot seed oil has an SPF. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, what? Coffee's good for you. No, it's not. Yeah. They just keep finding stuff out.
Yeah. Lynn says, first Jules is going to bed. Good night, Jules. My husband went to an ED once with chest pain, and they had him sit in the waiting room. Seems lately all the VA is concerned about is if you're jabbed. That might be true, Joint Hair, in reference to the actual VA, the administration part of the VA. But, I'm quick to bash on the VA because I feel like they killed my father, but I want to be careful too, because there were some great nurses and there were some great people who tried like hell. And the system just wouldn't allow it. And, there was some,
we asked for a a particular doctor, and they said there was we don't have one. We don't even have one available.
Yeah.
What was it a doctor?
Lung doctor.
Pulmonologist?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But they wouldn't give him one.
No, I thought it
Good night,
was
Terminator.
Something else.
Everyone should have at least an IFAC and 1 year supply of medicine. Couldn't agree more. Oh my goodness. Let me see. Herbal schools exist, as does some online herbal education. Yeah, I'd be interested.
Well, there's all kinds of, and that's where Rain Country comes back in. She's got a lot of, the herbs and how to extract the stuff out of them. Do you want to do a tincture? Do you want to do an infusion? Do you want to do
Vanessa says Homegrown Herbalist School of Botanical Medicine is a course that takes about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
You'd love that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It's bad for you this week and good for you next. Yep, good for you next week. No, they keep changing their minds. Coffee is good for you and is good for the liver. Anything can be done in excess, though. Yeah, I love my coffee. I hope they keep saying it's good for me.
Not in excess, not 40 cups a day.
I don't drink 40 cups a day.
You used to.
I don't anymore.
You drink quite a bit.
I drink my
3 of those.
1 cup or 2.
You drink 1 or 2 of those?
Today I had 1.
What are those, 32 ounces?
Yep.
So 64 ounces of coffee. That's not excess, right?
How come you can do math here, but you can't any other
I
time?
just guessed.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
K-Monk says, good night, everybody. It's early AM on the East Coast. Well, good night. And thanks for hanging out. Does anyone here use orgone, pyramids, or crystal healing?
I've heard of, no, we don't. I don't have any experience in, and I know that they do have certain healing properties, but have not dabbled.
Let me see. Did that one? Electronic records are crap. MDs have to spend most of their time charting instead of assessing the patient. I think that's actually going to get worse. Especially you get into the, the socialized medicine and, yeah, I think you're going to see more and more of that, as they take it more and more socialized. If they triage your loved one, says Amy, and did vitals in an EKG and didn't see anything concerning, it is commonplace to let people sit in the lobby until a bed opens up. Don't forget, some medicines do overlap between humans and horses. Enough said.
Yeah.
Yep. And other animals for that matter.
Yeah.
I have never taken a course myself. I thought of it before, but I prefer learning on my own time and as needed in a practical sense. I'm more likely to retain the information that way, and it's free.
That's true.
Yeah. That was Heidi from Rain Country.
Yeah.
Patrick Jones, former vet and current herbalist, gives classes.
Okay.
Hey, John, Special Operations Equipment. Welcome, bud. I hope all is well with you. If any of you guys need any tactical gear, that's a great place. There, when I was there last, I bought a couple really cool chest rigs from him. And then when I got home, my boys stole them from me.
And I found one that I wanted.
Yep. Well, you got yours. And then, John, imagine that. So I bought 3 of them from you that day. And the only person in the family that didn't end up with one is me. Imagine that.
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
Yeah. Well, you should have brought 4. I mean, you got 4 people. That's a no-brainer.
No, it's okay. If you know what, if
you're going back,
I know. And if the boys, they love them, they absolutely love them. And
and you're like, take what you want.
Yep, and I love them. I mean, they're my kids.
Yeah.
I always tell them you can have anything I got.
Yep.
Let me see. They use faulty information to tell us that what's good or bad. That's why we need to find out for ourselves. Yep.
And what works for one does not work for another. You have to do your own research, your own dabbling.
Yeah. Yeah. Dr. Jones has a YouTube channel too, The Homegrown Herbalist.
I think I wrote that before, but I'm going to write it again.
Rickster says he's getting used to his kidney stone pain. Well, I hope you don't have to get used to it. Yeah. Yep. A lot of hellos there for John Willis, which is pretty cool. Hey, Alabama, exactly. Most recent one I got was people telling me that Brazil nuts are toxic, but did not really look into the real studies on it.
I thought they had medicinal purposes to them.
Yeah.
Dr. Jones, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. One lady said that if you eat more than 2 Brazilian nuts, they would kill you. Oh my goodness. I've eaten nuts. I'm glad that's not true because I really like Brazilian nuts.
We used to crack them all the time. For Christmas time, my grandma would get a big old bowl of nuts that you have to crack on your own.
Yeah, John says that SOE says, let me know what you guys want so we can have it made up before you get here in March. Yeah, you know what I really want is I want one of your really cool chest rigs in chocolate brown. I know you don't.
Match everything else.
No, it's just I think it's a flat earth color that isn't militant.
Yeah, but then
it isn't police, and I just would love to have one.
And it's different than ours.
And it's different than everybody else's. Yeah, but it's too. John, don't go make one just for me for that.
I would. One, I'm sure there's 20 other people who want.
I would gladly take one in multicam or whatever. Also, those are really cool too. But that would just be really cool. Ghetto, what's up, Mr. and Mrs. Yep. Good evening to you. Let me see. They are supposed to be making it more difficult to obtain fish and bird meds. Yeah, I believe that. I absolutely believe that. They don't want you treating yourself. Tricksters are. Trickster, are you on? Oh, I missed it. Sorry, ABB. The most exciting part of being free is going to the events. Yeah, for sure. I really like going to them. I really like going to and just meeting people. I mean, I have met so many great people, and specifically at Self-Reliance Festival. I met just all kinds of people. Porterhouse and Teal, and Tabletop Farms, and just a whole bunch of them that I've met. So it's a lot of fun. And American Roots, I hope to see you at an event. We would definitely do some hanging out. We'd hang out with you. We'd hang out with Joe and Marsha and Marshall. right? Not sure if it was mentioned. Check out Off Grid. Oops, blew right by me. Off Grid Doc.
Is that
Todd, not Todd. Thanks for that. Rain Country, I'm still here. I've eaten more than too many times. Yeah, me too. Yep. Hippocrates says darker than coyote. Yeah, darker than coyote. What I would like to have is chocolate brown. I know that sounds crazy and they don't exist, but that would be my ideal choice, would be something in a chocolate brown. I know I'm weird. I know, right?
You are.
No, they asked though, right? They were freaking out because I made Brazilian nut milk. Yet on PMC, they stated studies where they gave people up to 25 Brazil nuts at one time and they had a positive effect. Well, I've eaten a ton of them.
Nut milk.
Yeah. I would love a blue. It's at least conspicuous color for a bug out bag. Oh, interesting.
Oh.
A blue bug out bag. Jesus, right. I have eaten them by the handful. Yeah, us too. The only reason I restrain myself at all is because they are not cheap. Yeah. And they don't want you to have alternative medicine. Evie, thanks for the link right there, guys. That link will give you guys a discount to the Self-Reliance Festival if anybody wants to go.
That's the exact link.
That's the exact link, and that would give them the discount. And hey, if any of you are going down there, let me know, because I would love to hang out. And last time I went down there, Mandy Garrett, who was in this earlier, if she's not still here, I went and had breakfast with her, her and her husband, and just chilled and enjoyed it, and it was cool. Jasmine says that B, I have been making notes to plan to eventually make a booklet for our home use. Yeah, you have a booklet, right?
Yeah, I write all kinds of stuff down.
Yep. She has a big Homestead planner book. It's a big book. And every day she goes in there and writes stuff down to keep track of it. And I keep telling her, if she would ever get to a point where it was 100% full and super written in, that I could then create a book out of that.
Nobody wants my chicken scratch notes.
Baby, I'm telling you.
How many eggs I got, or what the weather was, or what I did today.
Babe, if I had one of those books in front of me that I could look at someone else's experiences on a day-to-day basis, I would make much better decisions. Even though
Why would it matter?
Even though it was
eggs
you.
I got?
Because what it would tell me is, okay, from this in your
Although
particular
the
case,
eggs are, like they said, the eggs are count they're coming up. Like this time of year now, like they've already started increasing.
And babe, you know how I am. I'm a manager by nature.
Because I'm up to 12.
And I would be totally just working my way through all of that. And I could tell you how many eggs needed to be water glassed and how many eggs need to be frozen and how many quiches to make to get us through the end of the year by simple mathematical equations, by you providing me the correct input data.
Quiche.
Or whatever.
That's what I got from that.
Yeah. June 1, you have to have a script for animal meds. See?
Oh, animal meds.
You have to have a prescription for animal meds.
Oh.
As of June 1st. I have not read that.
For like Corid or for like all meds?
I would love that asking if someone is on freesteading is a thing. I would love that asking if someone is freesteading is a thing. I don't understand. Do you understand?
No.
Hey, Zeus, you lost me. Sorry. In the middle now. Let me see. I wish I could like the comments on YouTube. Yeah, that'd be cool. That's actually something that we are working on freesteading, is to do a better job of being able to share content and emojis and some of those kind of things. Amy B asked for the time off for SRF. Yeah, Amy B, if you go, look me up.
Oh, she did? Oh.
You can go.
That'll be nice. Oh, I've got to do chores.
I understand. And
you've got family coming now.
I know. And you can kick them out, or they can come with us.
Or they can stay
keep
here.
The house. Water the plants.
Hey, Alabama says, get all the information you can while it's still available. That is great advice.
Yeah. And write it down. Get it in paper copy.
Yes, still here. And it was really good breakfast meeting. Yeah, I had a great time. And what's so nice for me is that now, like Mandy and I, we talk on email. Oh, I don't want to say a lot, maybe a couple times a month or 3 times a month, whatever it is. But just sharing homesteading information or whatever. And now I totally put a face with a name, and I understand who it is and what they're trying. So it's super nice, that would be like a Foxfire book.
Oh, that's what I tried to find on you. I thought that was YouTube. I looked the Foxfire up on YouTube. You said it was a book, right? That's
it's a book.
We had that conversation. It was like a series or something.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was a movie.
She's a dork. Do you all know Hoplite Armor? Sales to civilians only, no DOD or LE. I've not heard of that. I'd be interested in it, though. I'll have to Google it. Glenn, good evening to you. And Rick's got some homemade chili. And remember, Rick's the guy that does everything.
Well, yeah, of course he has chili. He probably has enough for his neighbors, too.
B, have you seen what trash they successfully sell in bookstores versus your information? Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should write a book.
No.
What would it be called?
Nobody wants to read my scratch.
Yeah, that's the name of the book. Nobody wants to read my scratch. Water glassing is something we need to learn. It's a way to store eggs.
I have eggs like in every way possible, but we get so many every single day that I don't use the ones that I have stored up because we get 12 eggs daily.
Yeah,
that I turn around and feed back to the animals.
There's a bunch more people talking about how antibiotics for animals, you have to have a prescription now.
Well, I'm glad I got a couple.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's crazy. I wonder how far that goes. Is it just antibiotics or is it any prescription? Is it any med? Like, for example, your acid for your bees. Is that considered?
Well, no, because it is wood bleach.
So you could probably just buy wood bleach, I guess, huh? I actually saw
that's what it is. It's
cheap egg factory eggs were $4.99 and the pricey free range eggs were $4.14. What was this, a math quiz? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You need hydrogenized lime for water glassing and latrine. Amelia, hello, says, and the vet must see the animal before writing the script.
We can't even get our vet to see our farm animals.
Yeah. I think the other thing is, and this is going to sound harsh, but maybe this is just part of, how you have to grow an animal now.
We have to learn how to
do it ourselves and grow them tough and use as much natural stuff as we can and try to keep the system out of the animal.
Use the moringa and the oregano and the rosemary and put it around their coop and grow it there.
Yeah. Yeah. Sweet Savior Word says, I have got to figure out how to turn off autocorrect. Rick only made 2 gallons of chili. Going to have to call it a night. Been up a long time. Enjoyed. Lynn, thank you so much for coming, and I hope you have a great night. Yeah, water glassing is easy peasy. Rain Country says there is a Clint Eastwood movie called Firefox. Foxfire is the book series.
Dang it.
Yeah. Yeah, the old callus strikes again, right? You like that name? It's romantic.
No.
Any meds for animals must be seen. Yep. So the vet is going to write a script and you turn around and give it back to him for the dog meds? ?
You get the dog meds at, I think, the pharmacy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's exactly the issues that, we order from a vet supply company, right? That's right here in Kansas.
Yes. And there were some of the things that they did say that you needed a prescription for.
Yep.
Which then I just took them out of the cart.
Skanes Girl says I can put on a cow costume if needed. Yeah. Pickling lime is the right lime to use.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Hate to duck out, but I have to travel tomorrow. RN, have a great night. Yep. Let me see. Don't forget the comfrey for the animals. Yep. We're growing lots of comfrey.
I hope to get more comfrey.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you'll be able to just continue to grow it now and it'll expand and expand and expand, Yeah,
when you got a little root, you got to let it grow and then you can divide it.
Sweet Savior Word says, I love hanging out with you guys. This has turned into really an interesting community. And I've had a lot of people comment on, it's so interesting how, just how this community has grown. I like hanging out with you guys too. I look forward to it all week long to our Friday lives. We get to sit here and talk about all kinds of silly stuff. The old callus, the old blister, right?
Yeah.
Squash.
Yeah.
Bee being on vacation. How I haven't had any dessert lately.
You just had peppermint. What is this?
Well, you're talking about the flat pie?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was dessert.
What is this?
I didn't know it was dessert.
This is interesting. It was peppermint flavored.
Well,
Come on now.
Kinda.
It was peppermint. There was enough peppermints in there to make it pepperminty. Maybe it was because you were eating it with chocolate milk.
I'm surprised you didn't try to make the argument that my dessert was the chocolate milk.
Oh, dang it. I should have said that.
Right. I make painkiller for the dog from coconut oil, catmint, turmeric, and moringa.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Rain Country, can you guys grow moringa where you're at? Because we can't here. We can grow it indoors.
I have to bring it indoors.
Yeah, let me see.
I need to grow more moringas. I only have 2 that have, and they're.
Starla said, sorry, I had to leave for a little bit. What did I miss? Well, you missed Bethany's pregnant.
No, I'm not. I'm well past that age. But we have a new grandbaby.
You could have held that for a while. We could have had fun with that.
No, I don't want that getting all over.
Oh, my goodness.
Tag's pregnant.
That would have been even funnier.
Yeah.
What type of comfrey does not spread? I think it all spreads, doesn't it?
Comfrey, it just bushes, doesn't it? I don't think it like spreads like I'm thinking spreading does.
No, I think it does, doesn't it? We have not grown it for long, so
this.
Yeah. Valerian is also a great option for dogs for pain and to calm them.
Valerian root.
Keep putting up the properties on YouTube. You might get us all out there to you. But
That's our
love
goal.
runs rampant. That is our goal. And every piece of property I'm going to continue to put up because at the end of the day, I really think community just matters that much.
Yeah.
And so I promise you, I will continue to put it up there. And I got a word that there's 2 40-acre lots coming from a local realtor. They're not listed yet. And I'm trying to get permission to go see them because if I can get a hold of them before they're listed,
then
even better, right?
Yeah.
But we're going to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Starla Doke, B Rag and Tad. Haha. Yeah. B, make him some zucchini bread for dessert. Hey, Suze.
I don't have any zucchini right now.
And zucchini bread isn't dessert.
Oh, it's so good though. It's like banana bread.
That's fine. It might be.
Butter on it and warm it up.
Might be. It's still not dessert.
It's like a snacky.
It's agreed, but it's not dessert.
Yeah.
She just said, yeah, you guys heard
It's not a dessert, but it is good. And you could eat it after dinner.
I take this community's pervasive common sense and resourcefulness for granted, far above John Q. Public. Yeah, this is a great community. I don't agree with whatever everybody's points all of the time or whatever, but there is a ton of knowledge in here. And it's funny if we get a question or something. I mean, one person says one thing, and man, you got all the answers. I love it. Give him a Tic Tac and tell him here's your dessert.
You're lucky you get desserts.
I'd be luckier if I got more. You're just not trying hard enough.
Be fatter.
My husband just said he looks forward to Friday nights to listen to Tag and B. We learned so much from you all. Barbara, thank you very much. I tried growing it once, but did not get the seeds to germinate, but am trying again this year. I will soak and score the seeds before planting and see if that works. Yeah.
I soaked the seed. Yeah, I soaked the seeds before planting. Soaked them for quite a few days. And then put them in a paper towel, I think. I have the directions. Mm-hmm. And then planted them. And I think I've got 13 seeds. Mm-hmm. And I got all of them to germinate. And then you came in with the tire upper and stapled the plants. That killed them instantly.
Not instantly.
No, it was like the next day they were dead. That's instantly enough. I mean,
yeah, Bee's got this plant tying machine, and it's basically got
it's like a stapler
mouth on it, and it'll clip around a plant and staple a holder so you can staple it up. And it's super slick. Mm-hmm. It works really, really well. That's what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Another reason why not to let me around them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Starla says that you just need to feed me more squash and maybe put a gnome in my office. I like gnomes. Mm-hmm. It's Yoda that's got the gnome issues. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I missed so many. Okay, I'm just gonna have to pick one and roll.
Put chocolate chips in your banana bread. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
or
good.
Nuts
Yeah.
or.
Let me see. Boking 14 comfrey is one of the ones that does not get seeds, but it will still spread through the roots. Oh, interesting.
Okay, so it does spread through the roots.
Yeah, Gypsy says the comfrey that Billy sells does not spread.
So they have different breeds.
Yeah. 2 blockings of comfrey 14 and 4 do not spread. Comfrey, what's that word? Officinale spreads by seed. I'm interested in yucca also, and I know how to cook it. Yeah, we have yucca. We have a few yucca plants out here.
Yeah, it stays green all winter long.
Yeah.
Pretty easy to identify.
Yeah, Michelle says she looks forward to the Friday night get together. Yeah, I do too. I look forward to it all week long. Weather forecast is always rainy here, says Rain Country. Does that have anything to do with why you named it Rain Country? Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Mr. Rain says, go to your country, GIS, and look at vacant land. Yep. Approach the landowner, and you might be surprised that they may sell. You can get the owner address, and if you look deep enough, you can even find the phone number. Yeah, we go, the parcel searches in a county is how we found a lot of land. My land that I live on right now today was never listed. Let me see, did I miss somebody up in here? Someone said hello, good evening, and I totally missed them, and I apologize. You see, Jerusalem artichokes are easy to grow and very prolific. Not everyone can handle what they do to their gut, though. Yeah, we grow them here. Don't do a lot with them, but we do grow them.
Our rabbits eat a lot of them.
Yeah. If anyone is looking for a chemical-free way to kill a tree or bush stump, get copper nails, but do not drive it in flush. So you can pull them out and reuse. Oh, that's cool. Does anyone know how to kill love grass? I'd make a joke, but I don't even know what love grass is. Do you know how to kill love grass?
No.
Maybe make them take a drug test? No? Comfrey gets bushy, but if you let it go to seed, it will definitely spread. Yep. See, it would be for pigs. Okay, wait. Sorry, guys. Oh, yes, exactly why I named it that. We literally live close to a rainforest. Yep. Let me see here. I grew them once and it was worth it, but I decided it was not for us.
The greens?
Yeah, I think she was talking about Jerusalem artichokes maybe, huh? Yeah. Skane's Girl, do they... Let me see. Skane's Girl says to Starla, they are starchy and can use them kind of like potatoes in dishes. Yeah, they're talking about the
Jerusalem
artichokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good night, everyone. Kids just came in. Well, Rhonda, you have a good night. Tell the kids that Tag and B said hello. Mr. Rain says 120 inches annual average rainfall in Rain Country. Yeah, we get 30.
That's Rain Country.
Yeah, we get 30.
We're drought country.
Hippocrates says they should call them fartichokes.
Oh, do they make you toot?
Oh, God.
I haven't eaten them.
No, but if they do that to you?
You bought a whole bunch. I planted them all, and then the rabbits came in and literally wiped them out.
When did that happen? I just watched a couple of days ago, and it seemed fine. Okay, I must have missed something up here.
And that is our low average. We can get up 160 inches.
I don't know. They are a root. I think they have to plant them like horseradish. Yeah, that's ours were a root that we just planted.
Like bulbs, not roots, but
some say if you cook them well, they won't give you gas. I cooked the heck out of them and it was still a problem. Oh, poor Mr. Rain.
Good to know.
Poor Mr. Rain. Is that about the time the whole blister thing came about? Just out of curiosity. A doctor I watched this morning was talking about artichokes today. There's 2 different kinds. One makes you gassy, one does not. Artichokes, an alternative energy source, says Mr. Rain.
Artichokes take so long to grow. We can't.
But Mr. Rain, can you capture that energy? How do you harness that alternative energy source? please share with us.
In a jar.
No, he has been calling me that for much longer. Okay. People have been driving us crazy looking us up on real estate records, offering 1/5 of what we paid for it a couple of years ago. Them haranguing like that means it works on vulnerable owners. Yeah. We haven't gotten any calls, but thank goodness.
We also have cell phones, so.
Yeah, green globe or imperial artichokes are best for our climate in 6B. We have been in 20-year drought, so Utah is buying cloud seeding. And we have been getting tons of snow. Mr. Rain says it's natural gas. Well, there as that one woman selling her farts in a jar and making a lot of money off of them. Can you believe that people will buy that stuff? You like that?
That's hilarious.
Oh my goodness. No. No. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Talking about real artichokes, I was talking about sunchokes, the tubers. And Skange Girl says she was talking about yucca. Yeah.
Everybody's talking about something different.
Yeah. Actually, it was kind of funny that we were talking about farting and now yucca. And anyway.
Well, then artichokes are out.
Yeah. And you can take yucca and make all kinds of stuff out of it, right? The root.
Yeah, you can powder it and make flour out of it. You can use it for cordage, the tops.
Yeah. Data talks about how he's a good fire starter with a bow and a drill, and how the drill part of the bow and the drill, he says, is best with dried yucca.
I got one of my yuccas from them.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm. The other one I got from those kids that were trying to buy video games.
Rickster, you heard that right. There is someone else from Utah in here.
Oh.
Yeah. Some of us just sitting back going, huh? Yeah. I hope that jar is a joke. No, that really happens. They are closely related to the sunflower. I found the tubers to taste like sunflower seeds. Interesting. Not yucca, yucca. Now, I have never heard it pronounced yucca. Everywhere I have ever been, Skange Girl, it was called yucca.
Yucca.
Have you ever heard it called?
Yucca. Yucca.
Yucca is where we've always heard, right? Yeah, is comfrey from Georgia different from comfrey in New York?
Comfrey. Well, I guess there's different strains of it. Mm-hmm. So it just depends on what you get. Yuck.
Yeah, yucca is how I've always pronounced it too. Not yucca. But then again, ramen noodles, which what I grew up with, I met her and she got mad at me. It's ramen noodles. No,
ramen noodles.
It is not ramen, it's ramen.
Ramen.
The only difference is the accent. Yucca is a cactus. Jesus, it's under his name. I've been watching since he was about 40,000 subscribers and have a conversation every once in a while.
Who?
I'm looking here.
Amelia.
Problem, they just go by so fast that I can't keep track of them yet.
It was up higher.
You see cassava. Great for making tapioca pudding with coconut. I love tapioca pudding. Tag, I think there are two different things, 1C and 2Cs. Oh, there might be two different things. Yeah.
Oh, yucca.
So she's thinking yucca and I'm thinking yucca, and I'm thinking she's talking about yucca, but she's not. Yeah, Jesus says, I thought yucca and yucca were two different plants.
Okay, so we're learning this.
Weatherman. Okay, got it. Yeah, I've watched Weatherman a couple times. I like Ryan Hall just because I like his personality, but okay. A vowel followed by a double consonant makes a short vowel. Yucca. All right, just had a curiosity, New Day Farm. Are you a creative writer or like an English teacher or something? I'm looking for, and maybe, anyway, I'll say it. I'm looking for someone who wants to help with a creative writing project we've got in reference to the Ungovernable project. We want to turn it into a choose your own adventure book. digitally. And so if anybody is a creative writer, I'd love the help. And you got my joint hair. Okay, where were we here? I'm going to try to. The only difference is the accent. That must be it. Problem is it just. Yeah, Mandy says I'm drooling over tapioca coconut pudding. Yeah, so good.
Pudding.
Yeah, so good. What'd you have on your list? What do you want to talk about tonight? You said you were working on your list earlier today?
Yeah.
Sounds like one big fib to me. Because you ain't coming up with nothing.
I talked about my dessert.
No, you're so full of it.
I got the girls' Christmas presents for the Christmas contest finally.
You finally got them?
And I tried to get them mailed today, and I left them in the back of the truck.
Okay.
Not truck, but Jeep.
Why don't you talk about the community thing and what you're bringing and all that? We have a community event on Sunday.
Sunday, yes. So I am taking more beans and bacon because my silly self I bought 10 pounds of cranberry beans, thinking that I was going to make all 10 pounds of cranberry beans. And I put 8 pounds into my pot and they grew past my pot. So I put half of them into another pot and I am just winning all around. So I've got 8 pounds of beans. 8 pounds of beans.
That's what you got out of my question?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And Tag didn't eat nearly as much as I thought he was going to.
Yeah, I just didn't try hard enough, right?
So I've got I am going to make some refried beans. I'm going to make some...
The Great Cranberry Bean Roundup of 2023.
No kidding. I have no idea what I was thinking. Same thing with the whole...
Well, you clearly weren't.
No. No.
What happens to you when you get into those moments? Are you just like thinking about something else or...
Well, clearly, I mean, both of those were on the same day. So the pie and the beans, I had both of them in my brain. I knew exactly what I was doing. And so I found the beans on, they were like 50 cents a pound. They were trying to get rid of them. And I was like, deal, I'll buy them. And when I was putting them in my cart, I took only half of them because I did not clear the shelf. And I was like, oh, I'll put some in, I'll cook some, and then I'll put some on the shelf. And then when I got home, I just started cutting the bags open and putting them in my pot.
Now, in case you didn't know, rice expands when you cook it too.
Yeah, I know that. But I was not thinking that. I was just thinking
was this on Monday?
No. Today's Friday, right? Why? What happened Monday?
It's a full moon.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
No. I don't know. No.
We were just trying to figure out.
Wasn't it? What is today? Friday.
Yes, today's Friday for the second time.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Okay, so Thursday. You did it yesterday?
Yes.
Okay. So no, but it was Thursday.
Yes, it was yesterday.
Eagle lover. Yep.
So we're gonna have beans again this weekend.
Yeah, might as well mix some squash in there.
Yes.
No.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes. I can maybe like mash it up and make some kind of like paste.
Yeah.
Spread it on a tortilla. Do some tostadas.
Hey, Sweet Savior Word says, love you guys and gals. Make sure you're ready to stand before God. Everything will be fine. Everything will be fine.
Yep.
Next Saturday is the Kansas snipe hunt, I was told.
Yeah. Here, snipe, snipe, snipe.
Okay, so Mr. Rain says, beans, squash, and turnips, repeat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But you get chocolate milk.
Yeah, I get chocolate milk out of the deal. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking. I just had one of those days.
Yeah. Well, I want to get back to the event real quick here, but Evie says, Lifetime Free, did you see New Day's Farms reply about your question? I was an early childhood educator for 13 years. Always wanted to do a blog. Oh yeah, I did not see that. Evie. But New Day, if you're interested in helping with the project, what we'd like to do again is kind of create a way to challenge people to think about how free they are. And can I take them through an adventure by asking a series of questions that makes it not seem so hard, but in the end, can spit out the answer to the question, or maybe to do this or do that. And so anyway, I'm interested in it if you are. Sweet Savvy Word says, I have to take my girl out to go potty. Be right back. Yep.
We'll be here.
Hey, B, we use cranberry beans as soup beans here in the Tennessee mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently we have lots of beans.
Yeah, well, I'm making some soup.
Yeah. Jesus says beans and rice, beans and cornbread, beans and taters, beans and chili. Oh, how chili. To eat beans for a week and not eat the same thing every day. Yep, shrimp sandwich and shrimp kebabs and
shrimp gumbo.
Shrimp gumbo. Yeah. Oh, Amy B, what was bad? There was no way to fix it. Many of us had our parents there. I must have missed the comment. Plant them, grow them, B. Yeah. Did I miss? Oh, no, I did that one. Okay. Mr. Rain, I'm keeping my spouse awake, cracking up. Yeah, it's funny, man. I think you guys like to torture me with the whole beans and squash. Oh, my goodness. Okay, New Day Farm, thank you very, very much. Yep, and if you're interested, I'd love to do it. I think it'd be just such a neat project. And again, what better gift that we can give than, to help people live a little bit freer. And what the crazy thing is, and you guys know this, I talk all over, and most people just don't know where to start. Yeah. It's not a lack of will. It's not a lack of any of those. It's just like, how do we even begin?
So where do you go from here?
Yeah. So I think that would just be a super neat project. Beans, the magical fruit. B, have you tried lemon squash?
No.
And more beans. Yeah, apparently we're going to be having beans for all, but except here's the good news. I get to dump out a lot of the beans because Sunday we have a community potluck, and we do this pretty regularly, where we all get together and we'll have a big potluck. There'll be a couple presentations, like saving seeds or soil or compost
preservation.
Or whatever it is. So we have one of them coming up Sunday. And so she's bringing beans and bacon to the potluck.
Turkey bacon.
To
with some jambalaya seasoning.
Yeah. So I'll be able to get rid of a lot of those beans during that event, which would be pretty cool. You can make squash noodles. Did you know that?
Squash noodles.
No, you didn't know that?
Well, I've seen butternut, or not butternut, the spaghetti squash noodles. Mm-hmm. But I have not seen butternut squash noodles.
Yep. Grew lemon cukes last summer. Very interesting little cuke. I didn't know that. Scanes Girl, I'll eat fresh or frozen green beans, but not canned. Can't trust them. Long story there. Skins Girl says, can chickens eat beans? I believe they can, as long as you cook them first.
Yeah, probably.
Or grind them up, right?
Yeah.
So they don't expand in them, right? All this talk of food, I just had some apple crisp. Richard, somebody must love you.
I like apple crisp.
Yeah, and I haven't had dessert in forever.
You had dessert today. You had the last piece of that pie.
I didn't know that was dessert. You got to tell me that if I'm eating dessert.
It's pink. Surely you didn't think that was lunch.
Rain Country says, I've grown lemon cucumbers. They are pretty tasty. How can you make an irrigation for garden with gravity-fed water? Is there enough pressure to drip? Well, certainly there is. Actually, I built Bees has gravity-fed water, and just depends on how all about how high you put the tank and how big the tank is and how much pressure's coming down on it,
Yeah, it depends on the pressure or how high the tank is, because the one at the other house, when I put a soaker hose on it, it did not come all the way to the end of the soaker hose. It just came to the very tip.
And it's because it was down at ground level.
it was at ground level.
Had that tank been 8 feet in the air, you'd have no problems.
Whole different story.
Yeah, you'd have no problems. And we all saw him eat squash cake last week.
Yeah. Yeah. See, you had dessert.
Squash cake is not dessert.
It had frosting on it.
It's not dessert.
Like homemade cream cheese frosting.
Okay, so if you put frosting on a steak, that's dessert?
Could be. I could eat a steak though. That's some good eating.
Never let a cat eat beans. They will blow you out of your house.
We had a cat yesterday just freaking out in the woods, howling, and we thought it was dying.
Yeah, you know what? It was actually, I think it did die probably. So it was about 9:30 at night, something like that. We were getting ready to go to bed, and you could hear it screaming at the other side of the property.
The all black one hissed at me today, which she or he, I don't know what it is, I can't touch any of them, but the gray one still jumped away from me and ran. I have not seen the black and white one or the long-haired gray one, brown, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So there are only 2 that I can see right now.
Yeah, something died. LeBron Jump says 7-foot drop good enough. Yeah, it depends on how far it is away. There's a lot of variables in that, but I would say 7 foot would be a great start. I'm sure someone can get you some exact digits in here. Oh yeah, right there. Big Kid says 1 PSI for every 2.4 feet of height. So if that's up 7 feet, right? So that's basically, you see 1 to 3 PSI. So, right, basically. So you're getting, 3 PSI. Well, how much PSI does it take to get through the soaker hose? I bet you that'd do it. Jesus says steak is dessert and dinner all in one. No frosting needed.
Yeah.
Bean flour, dried zucchini made into flour.
Bean flour.
Yep, you need very little head pressure for water flow. 0.433 psi per foot of elevation, 1 psi at 2.34 feet. See, look at all these smart people.
Yeah.
Super smart. Yep, I'd have said it'll be fine.
Yes, you would have.
Well, I guess right.
Which is why the tank at the other house was at ground level.
I didn't have anywhere to put it. This tank,
it'll be fine.
I got smart, right? We welded a stand. Her tank for her greenhouse is 10 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
It's 750 gallons, 10 foot off the ground.
Yeah, it was a nightmare getting up there.
Yeah, that wasn't any fun. If the cats are afraid of people now, you might want to find out what happened to that cat. Well, I'm betting a coyote got it, bud.
Can't find it.
Yeah, I don't know. It was the middle of the night. Well, not the middle of the night. It was like 9:30, and I was actually already laying in bed, and then Bee's freaking out. So I got up, got dressed, and got a flashlight, went out looking, but
can't see it.
No, the problem is my property is full of woods, and I mean, if they grabbed a hold of that coyote or whatever, and ran off with them, I mean, you're never going to see that cat again. That's just part of the process around here, I guess. So, but I did go out there to see. The problem is these cats. So the farm next to me sold to another farmer next door, and so there's nobody over there. And the people that moved out of the farm next door,
they had 40 cats.
They had a whole bunch of cats, and
they took 15 of them with them.
Yeah, so we ended up with some cats, and they're not friendly. They're wild. Other than when it's really cold outside, they like to sleep in my shop, and so we get them around here, and then Bee feeds them in the winter to keep them from dying. But they're completely wild cats. I mean, I can walk by them and they won't move sometimes, but you get anywhere even close to them, they're gone. That
gray one does, doesn't it?
What?
Have you been even close to that gray, the short-haired gray?
Yeah, there's been a couple times I've walked by especially when it's cold and they're all huddled together. They're like sleeping in the seat of the skid loader or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you'll just walk right by and they just stay right there because it's cold. But I also don't lean in. I don't attempt to touch them or anything like that.
Never. I have attempted to touch them, but they run. But I didn't attempt to touch it today when I went to put food out, and the black one hissed at me, which is not normal. I've been feeding it for several weeks now.
Yeah. Well, maybe they just don't like you.
No, I think something happened last night, and I think that it scared him or hurt him or something, and he's not
having it.
Not happy.
Manny says, what is the platform for your 750 gallon water tank? So I took some, I like to buy steel pipe. I love to weld. And so I have 4 3-inch, quarter inch
That's only
wall.
3-inch.
Yeah, it's about that big around 3-inch.
Yeah.
Quarter-inch walled steel pipe that are concreted 4 feet in the ground. I got 4 of those, and they're up 16 feet in the air. And then I just took a bunch of angle iron and welded a platform and angle braces and all that stuff. And then I bought the tank, and Bethany and I actually pushed it all the way up to the top of that thing. And then I cabled it down, strapped it down, so it don't go anywhere. Hose pressure question. Does this have anything to do with the Boyle's law of partial pressures? But would that be multiple vertical tank a cess point? Yeah, Amy B, I have no idea, but I'll bet you there's someone in here who does. Coyotes dispatch cats quickly. Yeah, and he was squealing for a little bit, and then it was, by the time I could get dressed and get out, there was no more noise. It was already gone. Easy way to get much more water flow: make a funnel and attach it to the pipe in the flowing water. A 6-inch diameter funnel on a 2-inch pipe doubled my volume. Oh, cool. Yeah, but coyotes are a problem here too. Coyotes are the one of 3 animals on my farm that are kill on site. I won't.
Coyote.
A coyote. What are the other 2?
Coon.
A coon. And a mountain lion.
Possum.
No, a mountain lion. I won't mess with the possums unless they're in your chicken coop eating your chickens. The rest of them I don't mess with.
Yeah, I don't want it on the back deck. I don't want it anywhere around. Because they'll come back.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Close enough for sure, unless one is looking at a larger numbers. Yep. Rabies. Yeah, I hope not rabies, but if I get out there and that cat looks rough, I'll put it down. Take any male you can catch, then get them neutered, then bring them back to where you found them. They will keep other cats away and then not make any more kitties. Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah, put some traps out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your mom said if we covered the traps, that they would be more apt to go in them.
Probably. And if you made them warm and if you put a steak, they'd probably be more amped.
I'm not going to give them my steak.
Let me see. They don't leave them meowing. I want to find out what. Yep, I prefer to err on the side of caution. Yeah, as some here know, my cats are my neck warmers. Yeah, you wouldn't want these cats around your necks.
They're not friendly.
Yeah, Big Kid says I hate possums, but they do eat ticks. Richard said you have mountain lion in Kansas. We do have mountain lion in Kansas. Yeah. Yeah, we do, unfortunately. And I have never seen one. There have been lots of pictures of farms around here that have gotten pictures of them, I have never personally seen one, but, I'm not a big killer. I kind of really like nature. I don't shoot the animals around here, but there's some of them that are just so destructive, just like a coon. A coon is the worst possible animal in the world to get into a chicken coop.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so destructive, and they just can't.
Well, they don't even have to be in the coop. Yeah. I mean,
well, they climb and they
reach in and grab the chicken and pull it through the fence.
Yeah. Yeah. And then obviously a mountain lion, because a mountain lion is going to take big things, and you're talking about your own safety. And then a coyote for the exact same reasons, because they'll just run right by and, and that's the end of it, so they're kill on sight for me.
Yeah. Growing up, we had a raccoon and we kept it in the house. My parents got it as a baby, and they put it in one of the largest dog kennels. And then she would reach her hands out and she would unscrew the cage. And so she would be able to get herself out. So then my dad had to put a tow strap, tie the cage down to the coffee table so that she would not let herself out when we were not home. But my mom would open the door and she would run out the door. She would open the cage door, and the coon would run down and out the front door and then up into a tree. And then my mom would grab her brush and some Cheetos and shake them at the door, and here that raccoon would come right back in and let my mom brush her and put her into her kennel. And her hands were like velvety soft. Yeah.
Remember when they did the Panzer?
The raccoon
fight. I never knew this. We were walking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We were walking over there by the pond one day, and, I had Panzer with me, which is my male boxer. and he smelled a coon, and man, it was on, and he
They
jumped.
fought.
Yeah, he jumped into that pile of that coon, and man, out of the edge comes another coon. I did not know one coon would stand up for another one. I never knew this.
He was fighting with one, and another one
came and jumped into the fight, and he killed them both.
Fast.
Yeah, and just like that. But I did not know one coon would come to another one. The Philippine Nomad says, Tag, what's the highest point elevation out there in Kansas? I don't know what the highest point in Kansas is. I could tell you in my county, it's about 1,250 feet. But as far as the rest of the state of Kansas, I'm not entirely sure. You will never see the mountain lion coming. They will drag you up a tree, which is why they're shoot on sight. Coyotes are also a city problem here in Portland, especially in no PDX. Most cat owners are still letting their cats out at night. And then, has anyone seen my cat? You can guess what my thoughts are. Yeah. You cannot just live trap and let them go somewhere else. They will just come back. They have to be put down. Yeah, they're kill on sight. And it's sad to me, because I really like nature, but there's just those three animals. Now there's other animals, if a fox gets close to my chicken coop, I'll shoot it. But if I see a fox on the other side of the property, I'm typically not just going to shoot it. Or a possum or a whatever.
It'll find its way to the coop.
Live traps for cats, the cheapest, stinkiest cat food you can get works, but there's no telling what else it might attract. I used to do that when I was involved in rescue. Stinky. Big B says they love the wood cooking. Thanks.
Yay.
Yeah, she cooks on it every day, every single day. We've started to see a panther out in our part of the world, right by the interstate. We wonder if the state wildlife agency has reintroduced them.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that'd be spooky. I had to put down my standard poodle because it was attacked by coyotes. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably what we have the most of here. Yeah, I was in my truck, I don't know, a month ago or two, and I was on the phone.
Oh, it wasn't that long ago.
Wasn't that long? Anyway, a black coyote chicken comes running right around the front of my truck, hauling ass, and right on his tail was a coyote. And by the time I reached into my console, and I didn't have my rifle with me, I only had my Glock handgun.
You were sitting in this truck talking.
I was sitting in my truck talking on the phone. But anyway, I grabbed my Glock and racked it and stepped out of my truck. And by then he was, a good 150 out, and I missed him. I took a shot at him, but I missed him, or I think I missed him. He didn't seem too interrupted in his run. So, but yeah, he was right on his tail, right up and close and personal.
Yeah, I heard the rooster when he came around the corner making his. He was squawking.
Yeah,
he was like, "Help!"
Yeah,
and I looked out the window and saw you standing there with your pistol. I'm like, oh no.
Let me see. Is it Mount Sunflower? That is the highest place, but I don't know what the feet. It's over 4,900 foot elevation along the border. Could be. I don't know what it is out there. That seems awful high for the state, but maybe. I remember Boyle, but not his law. Chuckle. Can you? What's that word?
I don't know.
Extrapolate on what you are looking to figure out. Oh, she's talking to Amy. Okay, got it. I'm like, I don't know. Tag, a mountain lion will attack from beside, sneak attack, bite the neck from behind. You got to be careful going out after dark. B, do not run out after dark. Yeah, I go out there.
Mountain lion.
I go out there. They don't. I don't know. You can't. I'm not just going to hide in my house, right?
I don't go out after dark anyhow.
Yeah, she don't. Tonight, a pack of coyotes are being hunted at a neighbor's ranch that's down the road from me. They lost one of their livestock puppies last night, and they're PO'd. Yeah. When your animal lives are at stake, you have to do what you have to do. Yeah, and if there's something going on out there, I'm going to go out there and take care of it, because if I'm not going to, nobody's going to, right?
They have, there's a pack of coyotes right here in this field. They are so close. They howl. And it's actually quite spooky.
Yeah.
There's quite a few of them, too.
Yeah. Skins Girl says, my brother has started carrying my dad's old 38 walking his dogs. Guys, I'm telling you, I think, and I'll just say it, I think everybody should be carrying 100% of the time. Because you know what? You got issues out there like coyotes and all of that, but you also have crazy people shooting up Walmarts, and you also have people walking into schools, and you also have all of those things.
Neighbor dogs, too, that, don't belong in the area. That it was a visiting dog from a neighboring farm that just showed up and growled, and
yeah. Have you ever heard of a fisher cat? When they make a kill, it's awful. No. Mr. Rain, I want enough head pressure for garden watering system. Yeah, guys, it also depends on how much water's in the tank. You know, I mean, if you get a full, like my 750 gallon tank, if it's full, you can water a lot.
There's a lot of push.
It's a lot of pressure. But as it goes down, you know.
Yes.
Predators get trapped and go for a little ride. Yep. Yep. I've had vegans get mad at me for just killing slugs that I also have to protect my food. Yep, 100%. JB said the highest point in Kansas is 4,039 feet. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, rain country. I interpreted, I knew what you meant by that. I read it mad. Not made. Amy B, 7 feet will get you enough to water at ground level to waist high, but the higher you raise the hose, the less pressure. Okay, good. You need Anatolian dogs. Yeah, Gypsy, we're in the market actually.
Yes.
We kind of been dragging our feet just a little bit. Both of our boxers are pretty old. And, you know, we're going to give them the best lives we can give them along the way. But we've kind of been in the market for some Anatolians. And I think it'd be big and helpful out here.
It's kind of hard, too, to have two big dogs in the house when you have two big dogs out of the house. Although they have different needs. And the big furry dogs don't want to come in and lay next to the stove, where the two short-haired dogs, I'm tripping over them to get to the stove.
Yeah, which is why I got serious about finding a holster, says Rain Country. I'm glad. What did you end up picking, Heidi? Barbara said, we're having coyote problems here in Los Angeles. The fires here have brought them into the city. You can't leave your dogs or cats outside unattended. They can easily jump fences. Yeah, I think it's why you carry. And I think to Gypsy's point, you know, livestock guarding dogs, and we need to get a couple for sure.
Yeah, several.
We all have critters, including bear here. Ooh, will be interesting to see what shows up once we get on property and set up with chickens and sheep and garden.
Yeah.
And bear's a whole nother problem.
You can keep them out with an electric fence, can't you?
Probably.
Or barbed wire? Probably not barbed wire.
Probably not barbed wire, but electric. Because barbed wire, babe, they could just, you know, they're strong. Yeah. Two-legged predators are worse than the four-legged ones. I could not agree more. Nomad. Could not agree more. I've been carrying 100% of the time for over 20 years and preach it. I really think that we have to take our security into our own hands. I just do. Amy B says she lives a mile from a prison. I'd be carrying for sure if I was you. Israeli requires 15 plus to carry at all times, if I remember correctly. Oh, interesting. Requires 15-year-olds to carry at all times, if I remember correctly.
Israel.
Yeah, that's awful young. I don't know that I would support. I know a lot of really dumbass 15-year-olds, but 18 for sure. First time tonight seeing a cougar, I think. Oh, feral hogs is one thing, but a cougar or a bobcat is another. Yeah, we have bobcats out here. They don't bother me too much. They're
scared of us.
They're scared of us and they run and all that stuff. But
I got a picture of them.
Yeah, cougar's a whole nother gig. Amy B, you just need enough elevation to flow. You can set a plastic 55-gallon drum under your downspout and have enough pressure for flow. Water seeks a level so long as the source is higher. Yep, rain country. Vegans tend to have no idea how much environmental devastation, petroleum, etc., goes into their monocropped vegetarian diet. Yeah. Starla says it's actually 4,039 feet. Yeah, good for you, Rick. My goat mentor is about to breed her Anatolian male and female, gorgeous, huge dogs. Yeah, if
where is New Day? Do you know?
I don't know where they are. Not off the top of my head. But if anybody knows of a good breeder, but I want a good breeder. I want someone whose dogs actually work with animals. You know, I don't want a pet. Good bee tag. Make sure you have your postal when you go out after dark. I had 2 mountain lions who hung out on my roof, had a 45er Glock and a flashlight at night to let the dogs out. Yeah.
Yikes. Hanging out on her roof.
Yeah. Yeah. There are no mountain lions on our roof, Bee.
On her roof. I'm
just saying. So when it starts raining, they're not dancing up there. I'm just letting you know.
But they might be up there.
Oh, my goodness. Let me see here. Rain Country says, exactly. And when you tell them, they refuse to see it. They just want to take the moral high ground. Yeah, except it's not the moral high ground.
For vegans.
Yeah, coyotes can jump 6-foot fence. If I have my dogs out at night, I go out with them and 1 or 2 flashlights. Yeah, Sweet Savvy Word says she hates autocorrect. Yeah, I do too. Todd, not Todd, Israel is a very polite, very well armed society. They go hand in hand. Well, I think an armed populace is a polite populace. You know, bears laugh at electric here in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Okay, our fellow beekeepers from church had their hives destroyed. Oh yeah, you'd be in a bad day, huh?
Yeah, that would not be fun.
Yeah, New Days in Central Texas. We had a bear, mountain lions come to the mountains 2 hours away from us. Of towns 30 minutes away. Also had a bear about a mile away from us too. Coyotes run around our area here too. Yeah, look at the petrochemicals it takes to fly and truck avocados everywhere. Vegans aren't above criticism. Yeah, no doubt. I had a heater vent they loved in the winter. Oh, she's talking about them up on the roof. Yep. Ask Mandy Garrett last night. Someone was telling her about a breeder. Okay. The higher the tank, the better, as it is more useful, but it doesn't have to be in your application. Just don't be in a hurry to get the watering done. Yeah, actually, the slow water is actually kind of better in a lot of ways, right?
It depends. What if you don't have time?
Yeah, so Bee's tank, we put up 10 feet off the ground, and then I PEX plumbed her a bunch of faucets into her greenhouse.
Into the greenhouse.
Yeah, so she can just,
turn them on and walk away.
Yeah.
Well, clearly not walk away because.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's 3 hours and 10 minutes. All right, guys, listen, tonight we're going to cut it off right here. What do you think?
Okay.
Okay, now I know you have been thinking about this all day. Right? Got any parting words?
Beans swell up.
Beans swell up. Use gelatin and not pectin when it calls for gelatin. Right? What else?
Yeah. Find your mixer.
Find your mixer. Get all the tools ready before you start the job.
Well, that's even if I just knew where it was, that would have helped. But I tried. See?
Yep.
See, I didn't allow it to stop me from doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah, no. And you were baking and you were cooking, and that's good.
Yeah, we weren't starving.
No, we're not starving.
No, not starving this beast.
Nope. Anything else? Show me your shirt, by the way. Look at this Hold the Line shirt.
I got it for Christmas.
Yep.
See, the bees are holding.
They're all holding hands.
Holding hands. For those of you who are beekeepers will know what that looks like when you pull a frame out and they're all kind of chained together, holding their little hands. Tag got me this for Christmas.
Mr. Rain says, I have 4.33 PSI, so that is plenty for watering. Oh, yeah, we have no problem with water. None. MJ, hello. I didn't see you in there, but hello, bud. Anything else?
No, hold the line. Try to live freer today than you did yesterday.
Come check it out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my parting words to all of you guys tonight is, first of all, don't live in fear. And, I shared a whole bunch of things with you guys tonight that are going on, right? From the boomers retiring to the $31.5 trillion in debt to the $250,000 that you particularly own, that home prices have fallen 11%, that all of these crazy things are taking us to war, which I believe all to be true. But don't live in fear. Use it as empowering, and use it as things to get your butt going and, do the things that you're supposed to be doing. I mean, seriously, right? Use it as an empowering thing. Guys, I can't tell you how empowering it is for me to know that, I'm approaching an 80% of being free. I'm approaching a level that I've never seen anybody else get to. And that's not bragging. It's just saying that it's encouraging to say, hey, I can take control. And it's one little step and one little step and one little step.
It is a lot of little steps.
And, when I started this journey, from the time I started this journey as a 20-year prepper into a homesteader to all of that stuff, I've gained 50 points in my journey, right, to 100. And so use it to motivate you. It isn't a scary thing. I mean, just you guys being on here tonight, you're further ahead than most people, right? Because you're listening and your eyes are open and you're awake to the things that are going on. So don't live in fear. I'm not going to live in fear. I'm going to get up tomorrow morning and do exactly what I want to do all day long, right? But the thing is, be aware, guys, because the noose is tightening. And it's getting harder and harder and harder, which means every day you wait to build community, every day you wait to reach out and create that parallel economy, that parallel society, and those parallel systems makes it that much harder to do it. And so don't wait, get in the fight, stand up every day, speak your piece, be involved, go to your local school board, right? Meet other people, go to these events, you know. I mean, I can't tell you how cool it is. Mandy Garrett, I had breakfast with, you know, there's couples that came out of there that now, you know, are part of the community, but you got to go get involved. You're not going to get any of this done sitting around waiting for it to happen to you. The advertising bird is not going to drop it on your lap. You have to go, if you want it, you have to go get it. And so I would just encourage you to, you know, not live in fear and let that stuff empower you to go out there and live free. Because I'm telling you, that's exactly what I'm going to do every single day. And I'm going to fight right along with you guys. So I think really it's all I got to say is Bee said, hold the line, right?
Yep.
Right. Don't give an inch. And I think we're going to go to bed. Good night, everybody. And I'll see everybody on Friday. See you guys. Good night.